we were going to open.
We're simply making. We would never say anything like that weird, but
Just move on.
move on.
Where
All
are
right.
we?
So Jennifer Tilly just finished playing some poker, and now we're about to watch Michigan and Minnesota. 10-3-1 Michigan, 13-2-1 Minnesota at the Mooch.
Which is not an Olympic rink we discussed last time.
Yes, it is now.
Much to the
very sadly a very boring. Actually, it's like 90 feet though, right?
Yeah, it's Alex broke it down last time, but it's not quite NHL. It's sort of a hybrid. But
Apparently, Michael Hage not playing tonight.
yeah, he is sitting tonight. Reasons unknown, at least to me. And so that brings Daskus back into the fourth line. Humphreys is also out, and we are not sitting any defensemen of note because we don't have any.
Is no longer with the program.
That's true. It looks like Logan Stein is starting in net to the surprise of no one.
Yeah, they're just still doing the Friday, Saturday thing.
I think so. After last weekend, that would make sense. So, but the Gophers have fun jerseys tonight with the little skating
Goldie.
Oh, wow.
Kind of neat.
All right, so we typically will tell you when the game starts around these parts so that you guys can sync up. And but now that they've gone to commercial, it's time to think about, like, do you guys remember Soulja Boy? I was
Sure.
just thinking about him.
Why?
Because, like, I was like, when his song came out, there was a video of Barney doing it. Like, he was doing the Superman.
Do you have this on your bingo card?
And I was wondering if you remember Barney doing that,
No.
Alex,
No.
because that would have been about the age when you were watching Barney.
No.
Alex studied for finals in kindergarten.
I know that he never watched Barney. I know that he came out of the womb and he was like, indubitably.
Where is the London broil?
Yeah. You ever had one of those?
Well, he has.
They're all right. They're not great.
No?
Do you have a statement on the 20-year anniversary of the start of MGoBlog?
Thanks for making it work, guys. Thanks for...
Did it make your work life better?
Did what? Well, yeah, I used to have to go into an office and then, like, not do my job and get fired a couple of times.
Couple. I thought it was only once.
Oh, it was twice.
Okay.
Technically, one time I was laid off, but it was really like, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
I was the garbage.
We figured.
Yeah. That job kind of sucked because it was like, okay, you got to do this thing for these guys in the government. Okay, what do? We can't tell you. Okay. So we're just going to program something for guys that we aren't allowed to know what they do. It was like, yep. So it was hard to do and boring.
So the first post was the Hello World post?
Yes, it was the dorkiest possible. Like, I wrote a little program that was like, now I have a blog. So, yeah, it was...
And then
very
what was
much-
the second post?
I don't remember.
Do you?
No.
Oh.
It's probably just... So at the beginning, I was just posting, like, one... Like, I'd be like, oh, here's a link to a thing. And, the post would be like a paragraph long. Because at the time, you wore an onion on your belt because that was the style. But also, like, the first blogs were, like, real quick stuff. Just like, well, here's a link, here's a link, here's a link, and that was it.
Some news updates.
Yeah.
Oh. Hockey article?
It was a hockey article?
Alejandro says it's a hockey article. Well, that's fitting
Yeah, it's...
for tonight. So,
yeah,
Okay.
and you just write random stuff there. And I don't like going back and, like, looking at the really old stuff because it's clear, like, that I was not as good at writing. As
hey,
I
we're all
became.
from somewhere, Brian.
Yeah.
So they're zooming in on the goalies. Nathan
All right,
Aries
so we're
starting
about to get a puck drop.
for Minnesota. He is the backup, Alex, or is he the starter?
They've been kind of splitting them all year. So.
Yeah. But they got Soulier from Penn State, and he's worked out pretty well for them so far. Aries played pretty well. Minnesota's played pretty well.
They also haven't really played a lot of
All right,
marquee teams.
Puck drop in 3, 2. Drop the puck. Come on.
Oh, got you on that one.
All
There
right,
it
puck
is.
has been dropped.
Okay, so we are at 1955, 54, 53, 52.
So I think the first thing that kind of jumps out is that how is this hockey team good at stuff?
Well, they're well coached.
I know, but it seems like it takes more than that. I kind of feel like I've been watching an ECAC team all year.
Well, they're also a little bit older.
That's true.
They don't have a ton of freshmen, except on defense now, apparently. Where
Well,
they're
so
playing
like Felicio was not playing at all.
right.
Like I was a little surprised by that. I even forgot he was on the team for a while because Denver wanted to defer him, right? And so Michigan swooped in, and I thought surely there would be a place for someone committed to Denver, even if they wanted to defer him. But I guess,
And it worked out really well for Michigan because they're going to need another guy now.
yes, they will. I wonder what happened there.
I mean, they took away Tim Lovell's power play time, then they were cutting down his ice time at even strength, so...
And
You think he just self-yeeted because he didn't like his role on the team?
That's kind of my guess.
he wasn't
I mean,
really that good when he was here.
We haven't heard him sign a contract yet. They said a pro deal, but it's not like... Right, this wasn't what JLF did
nice
to
play
Minnesota,
from Luka.
where he left to sign an immediate deal. Like, we're still waiting to see where Lovell ends up, and... In that case, it probably was something going on.
I believe the last time we did one of these, the assist quest for Chase Pletsky ended.
I just remember that I was begging them not to score a goal because it was offsides, and then they scored a goal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do remember. That's
hands down?
Not a good turnover.
All right, so they got away with what might have been a trip, but
Could have
probably
been.
wasn't. Yeah.
I think the other reason they're good is, their defense is now a lot better. And this is the second year in a row where they've come in with a lot of veteran defensemen who last year, Alex and I in our preview talked about, okay, until we get our skates underneath us as an offense, we're going to need to play good defense. And they didn't particularly.
I was about to say.
But this year, it felt that way as well, and they have. And they've gotten pretty good goaltending out of Stein and mostly out of Corpy, too. And
I just
so
think it's
all
like-
the things that had held Michigan back, like those things, and penalty kill, they're starting to do well, which I think I am going to lend a little bit to coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like the Hunwick effect, too. Is like they know this is the only way they can win games. And, when you can outscore everybody you play, sometimes you're just like, you don't put in-
Whatever. We'll get two more.
You don't have the focus
Yeah.
and the discipline because you're just focused on, whiz bang, let's score all the goals. And now,
Who cares about details?
yeah, that just wouldn't be possible.
Well, that guy's going right through
Jeez.
everybody.
I mean, that shot was pretty close to the end line. It wasn't too
That
dangerous.
was a young Middlestat, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you just
Oh, boy.
yeah.
Good. Got that
Just
stop.
watching this Minnesota team, and usually you're like, oh yeah, we've got a bunch of those guys.
Yeah. Well, we have one, and he's not playing.
Yeah.
But they're loaded. They got 4 first-rounders, and I think, what did we say in the preview, 16 draft picks?
Pretty
and,
much
and-
everybody
And
on
they're
the
not all,
roster is drafted.
6th and 7th rounders. These are guys in the top 3 and 4 rounds, so probably a number of players that are going to go at least get a look in the NHL, if not some
Yeah,
significant
Minnesota
playing
has a
time.
much better ability to retain these guys
Well,
into their junior and senior seasons.
they don't have to pay anyone in football or basketball.
Well, I don't.
Oh, nice play, Stein.
Wow.
It's a pretty good poke check. But that's the second or third dangerous opportunity that Minnesota's had so far.
Michigan's going to have to start playing the body a little bit.
A little bit. Take some people off the puck because they're walking in.
There still is that little bit of extra space that allows you to kind of have that even strength power play vibe once
Yeah.
you got control in the zone.
Oh, boy. Oh, there's another rebound. So he's
Yeah.
had a couple of rebounds. Michigan's cleared them, but
They're just getting crushed so far.
so far.
You're on the road, just got to get yourself into the game a little bit.
Yeah, unlike last week, right?
And they've been playing a lot of teams that weren't going to severely out talent them.
Michigan or
Yeah,
Minnesota?
Michigan has been.
This year?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Michigan still has a lot of talent. This is not like a team that has no players. It just is
No.
not what we've been used to seeing the last few years. Oh, kicked off. Yeah, this is not what we've seen the last few years where you have multiple first-round guys and 2 or 3 guys that could lead the country in scoring and that kind of thing.
It's Got to start
He's
squeezing a few
playing.
of these.
He does, but he's been making saves. Oh, there goes Whitelaw. Oh, hit the pass. Oh, good defense by 20. Moldenauer. So they're playing. Is
And
that?
see, look at that right
Oh,
there.
boy.
Yeah, just airball at the blue line by Fantilli.
There's been a few of those air balls.
All right, 14-40.
This is Minnesota has 7 shots on goal, and that was like half a game for Western the last time that Michigan played.
That's not untrue.
Minnesota's shooting early and often so far, and
Well, they're not just Penn Stating it either.
No.
They're getting good looks. And
They've gotten probably, I would say, 2 or 3 pretty dangerous chances.
yeah, we might end up talking about Gavin McKenna for the second half of this broadcast. 9 shots, jeez.
9-1. All right, 38, 37, 36. Get the puck out. Well, this is their fourth line.
Stein's got to start knocking the net off all the time. Because that's the end where it always happens, right? Just be like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's,
sorry.
it is
the-
the end, yeah.
Oh, this is going to be offside. Who's the little goalie? Close.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he would do?
Is anyone at that end of the ice would always knock it over.
Craig asserts that Bob Motzkow looks like a gopher.
I think he looks like Humpty Dumpty.
I mean, he does have those like big chompers on front. Yeah, I see that, Craig. Oh yeah. I think that's probably your best take ever. Yeah, just throw it at the net. Why
Wow,
not?
that was something.
Oop.
Good hold
So
by
they'll
Edwards
sustain
there.
some
See if we
offensive zone time.
Yeah.
That's not going to help. Nope.
can. There's Duke. Tanner Rowe, who's played in a lot more games than I thought he would this year.
I mean, I just like shouldn't they brought in Birchill or something? Like they
Well,
deferred him.
They should have brought in a 15th forward, in my opinion. They had 14 for the second year in a row.
He's like 19 or something. Like just bring him in. And
I was
then-
kind of surprised they deferred him again, but
well, he's apparently not going to be coming at all. Like they're
Well,
talking about he's decommitting.
if you defer him again, then that's probably what was going to happen.
yeah,
So
and Jack Wilson.
He's
Double L.
like tiny though.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
we have like 2 or 3 of those guys.
I mean, the smaller the defenseman, the better, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you want a Rico in the game?
just like because if you've got like a 5'2" defenseman, you know he's like hot shit with the puck. So that's all I want. I want Eric Werner.
He's probably in his 40s now, Brian.
So what? Bring him back. He's got a COVID year or something.
what team is Blankenberg on now? I saw him last
Nashville.
night. Yeah, or 2 nights ago.
Another
that
air
was
ball at the blue line.
Close to a
I guess that one was quite an air ball.
penalty. Uh-oh. Not winning a lot of the physical battles.
Well, they've managed to shut off the shots for a couple minutes at least.
Well,
He said prematurely.
uh-oh.
Great
good
play.
poke. Was that was
Yeah,
DR
put him in the
DRM.
net.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play.
Oh, there's a rebound. Oh,
Sheesh.
well, you were talking about, Alex, on the Hockey Cast that Minnesota splits up all their talent. So they have
yep.
like a first rounder on every line.
They can just come at you in waves.
And they have. There goes LaPointe.
Well, and you're on the road, so there's going to be.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
That
yes.
was
Yep.
well, pretty good team defense there.
You're going to be in the situation where. Oh, my
Edwards.
God.
What is this? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
There's a penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, well, when you get 4 defensive zone turnovers in a row, you're probably going to take a call.
This is not going well. Wow, that guy's really yelling the
Yeah.
Well,
He's
trying
like
to be heard on our.
Axl Rose.
Michigan penalty number 94.
That's my Axl Rose impression. It's very good.
Is it?
Yeah.
It wasn't awful.
Thanks, Alex. I know you have to say that because I'm your employer. But I appreciate it anyway.
That's the type of people you look for. Yes, man.
Sycophants.
Sycophants.
You know, if I really was looking for sycophants, like you would not be employed.
No.
No, you're always like trashing me.
Hey, someone's got to keep you in check.
That's true. I was hoping it would be, Vladimir Putin, but I got you instead.
Anyway,
Your real
all right.
Grand
That's
strategy.
pretty good 30 seconds right here.
Hey,
Turned it
Penalty
over.
kill's been good
no,
this
just
year.
pass it back. Yeah, there we
just hold
go.
it. There you go. Now
Just
wait.
jackhammer it.
And then now throw it down. There you go. 1/3 of the way through.
All right. Just 12-1 on the shots.
Well, they don't give you any points for shots. So.
Gonna Zalaegerszeg this one, which was it's a Hungarian football club that once
Get
beat
out.
Manchester United. In a game I watched live.
Where were you?
I was in Ireland,
Oh.
and I was just, what's
They
this?
were both in Ireland?
No, it was like one of the Champions League games they put on free television because why would you watch it? But the Hungarians won, just like Michigan's going to win tonight against the run of play.
Well, so far, it is definitely against the run of play.
Yeah.
Although this penalty kill's been pretty good so far.
That's
Minnesota
true.
has yet to get it set up at all. They've spent a lot of time trying to get it in the zone. Now they finally have some zone time.
30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Still,
Good save.
Nice.
Glove save.
it must feel really good. Like you're the goalie. And you just whoosh, flash the leather.
Do you know what state Logan Stein is from?
Nevada.
Yes, I do. I used to live close to there.
I do not.
Georgia.
Why is he from Georgia?
I know,
I
unusual.
don't know. That's apparently where his parents moved.
I don't know exactly, but unusual for.
Sewanee.
Yep.
I was very close to Sewanee.
And he was one of the more talented goalies in his age cohort when he was younger.
Well,
He
this
was on
is
the
a
World
break.
Junior
Can you
team.
get him out?
Oh,
Oh,
my
you had a
God.
chance to spring the guy coming out of the box, but
Hey, guys, don't worry about it. These defensive zone turnovers are not going to come back to bite us.
yeah, not at all.
Well, none have so far.
Holy cow. Can we get the puck clear? Nope.
That was one shot.
Still.
Maybe we should take lots of penalties because then they will have fewer shots. It's probably tactically unsound.
Whoa. 13-1.
Is
Under
Da-
9
is-
minutes to go.
Is Daskus from Miami of Ohio too?
He
Yes.
played there.
So it's like we just pick up fourth liners from Miami now.
Well, he's from
annually?
Michigan.
Yeah.
Well, but that played for Miami is what I'm saying.
Correct. But that's probably why he came here. Get a grad degree.
Well, and he fit a little bit what they needed.
They do need kind of a
Well, he's either their
bigger boy.
Yeah, he's either their heaviest or their second heaviest guy on the team. Which
Ernesty's pretty.
Yeah, he's
large.
him, Ernest, and Estop are their three heaviest. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well,
Did you see that Matthew Nyes is up to 235?
it's big. Here you go. Edwards. Oh! Hit the bar.
Oh, stupid post.
Oh, that's a good deflection. On the
Yep.
slot.
All right. Yeah, give us a shot, guys. So anyway, I was talking about Soldier Boy earlier,
Okay.
and that's really all I had to say about him.
You know, there was a song in the 50s called Soldier Boy. It was a #1 hit.
Craig reports
Craig, they
that
can't-
in the 50s,
we can't hear
there was
you.
a song called Soldier Boy that was a #1 hit because it was the only song that was released because it was 1950.
Craig started to dance for it.
They
I
got a
think.
song about every 6 months, printed on cuneiform tablets. They had to
Printed or
Yep.
etched?
Yeah, sure, etched, and they just had to look at it and pretend they understood what it sounded
I
like.
see.
Did you watch the Lions game last night?
No,
Did you think he would?
No.
I
but
watched.
I,
I
was-
watched.
I didn't know if you had any takes on all the 4th and 1s.
Oh.
Yeah, go for it.
Get a-
See, there you
I
go.
did
Theory
watch
segment.
Purdue Penn State.
Okay.
It was wild because Purdue comes in with Brendan Smith, the preseason player of the year. He's averaging 9 assists a game, And Ace Baldwin, who's the Penn State point guard, is the returning defensive player of the year. All of these things are new to me because I completely stopped watching Big Ten basketball last year for
Why was
obvious
that?
reasons. And he just completely blew Smith up. He couldn't do anything. They turned it over like 24, 25 times. I watched the first 4 minutes, and it was like 5-0 Purdue, and I'm like, why am I even watching this?
Penn State won last night?
Penn State won by like $1 billion, Craig.
Really? At Purdue?
No,
Is
they
it-
were at
is it-
the Bryce Jordan
Bryce
Center.
Jordan, that's right. I was going to say, is it the basketball Pagula? Or?
The one place that John Beeline got ejected.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
Whenever I see that Sells guy, I'm like, he ejected John Beeline. What must his home life be like? Does he have like a fish tank and he just yells at his fish all the time?
Fish?
Because he's just like, I'm so mad at everything.
Maybe he has reptiles.
Reptiles aren't bad pets.
No?
No.
What
All
reptile
right,
did you have?
the game is
Yeah.
back.
Discuss
We
that.
are
we should go off of
55, 54, 53,
7.
52, 51, 50. Michigan has picked up a second shot in this game.
We're
Things
very
are
excited.
Looking up. The nice thing about this is it really hammers home how impressive it is that Michigan is in the position they are in the pairwise.
Oof.
we're not allowed to talk about pairwise yet.
Yeah, you can talk about.
Oh, that's a goal.
Well,
And that's Matthew Wood on the rebound.
It was inevitable.
this,
When you give up a lot of
bodes
rebounds,
unwell.
somebody finds one and puts it away.
So usually when we do these, the games are competitive and worth talking about, and this one's kind of heading in the wrong direction pretty quick.
Well, this is not just because Michigan doesn't have Michael Hage. This is Michigan's been sloppy in their own end. He thinks he has it. I didn't see
Yeah.
who had the original shot. 11. Makes the save, doesn't know where it is. It goes off of Felicio's skate and right to Matthew Wood. I think that shot was from it says unassisted. That's probably, well, it could be true. Would that be an unassisted goal?
No.
No. Whoever shot the puck that crossed the rebound gets an assist.
Oliver Moore.
Well, the Gophers are definitely flexing their skill so far.
Yeah.
And every time they come down the wing, they're looking to pull a move.
Oh, that's a good play. 7
Jeez.
got in.
Now you got numbers the
We
other
have
way.
a
Got a little
3-on-2-ish.
pick. Oh, my God.
That was
what was
pretty
that?
poorly played.
The
And now we've got a 3-on-2 the other way. And a goal from Snuggerud.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning into our watch along.
This is about as bad as
Yeah, Brandon Narada looks really pissed off. And I understand why. I mean, I'm not personally pissed off. Things happen, but he is the coach. Going to be some.
Well, they're not playing very well.
They're playing like butts.
They are.
But it's fine, you know? Michigan beat Ohio State 13-10.
I was wondering how long it was going to take to reference that.
Occasionally just wake up cackling.
the one at the Troll Center.
I mean, I guess not. You don't wake up like 4 times a day, so. But, you just get a little cackle in. Starting to pile up the offense. Allowed opponent to score first in 9 of last 12 games.
Well, not tonight.
Not tonight, sir.
No, Minnesota looks, I mean, shots are 17 to
Good.
2 in the first period, but yes, they look good. And they've looked good all year. Alex's point about, well, have they beaten anyone of note? And the answer for that is mostly
Oh,
no.
come
That's
on.
going to be a penalty on Luka. Is that going to be an interference? Oh,
Should be.
Murado's got the gum.
Yeah.
Does he get the
It can't be interference. It's got to be holding because the guy had the puck.
Kirk Ferentz gum?
Yeah.
Holding.
All right, well, this guy wasn't Axl Rose at all. He didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
He just didn't even turn his mic on. Guy's got stage fright.
He didn't even have the puck.
I
though.
don't think that's holding. He's finishing a check, though.
Well,
Was he checking him?
It's a badly timed check.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's.
Kill a penalty.
Well, I was gonna say get 2 shorthanded goals, but
All
we
right.
can live modestly, I suppose.
Well, who's the? Oh, there.
Ah.
Off his skate.
I would have been insufferable if that had happened. More insufferable.
That is. Did that go off somebody?
I don't think that. I think it just
Snuggerud can
Left
just
the arena.
rip it.
He can. How is he still in college?
isn't there. He's like got brothers, right? That's why there's been a Snuggerud. And,
Nope, that hit Haiti.
There's
Good
been a
shot block.
Yep.
Snuggerud in Minnesota hockey for 8 straight years.
It's just the same guy.
It's just this one guy.
It's just the one guy.
He's a first round pick from like 2 years ago. Yeah. He's in his 3rd year.
Clearly does not want to play for the Blues.
Well.
So I thought it was like a slagger
Save,
thing where
rebound.
there's like 800 different
No.
slaggards.
No, there
How
are
many
a lot of-
Snuggeruds do you think are alive?
What?
How many Snuggerud families do you think exist?
Well, no, but the slaggards, they're just one family. So I thought that.
Well, there's not. There's also the Janikis. They've been at Notre Dame too forever.
Yeah, but they don't score goals, so I don't know who they are.
They
They're
just injure people.
They're just NPCs at the boring team. Oh, give
call
us
another
another
one.
one.
That's going to be
there.
on Duke. Oh, they're not calling it.
they got away with it.
Well, you're shorthanded, so
And this is the second power play, so they're probably not trying to stack them.
they're
Can you
just
hand
having
out?
a lot of trouble with speed right now.
Can you hand out more penalties than a team has shots?
What kind of Rutger is that? Wow, this is
I mean, this is a good kill.
Penalty kills.
yeah, I guess. But I was just thinking during the intermission, instead of just kind of wandering around, we'll just put on the Michigan State basketball game from last year and talk about it.
The Michigan State basketball game.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
kind of keep
remember
the
any
same
of them.
vibe.
Oh,
Just like, oh, this is not going well.
Was that the one that Doug was allowed to play in, or the one where he wasn't traveling?
Honestly, I didn't watch it the first time.
you didn't watch? Did you watch either of them? Or- Well,
All right, got
I'm
a
gonna
penalty
kill this one off.
All
Two for
right.
2.
Did not get 2 shorthanded goals, but we'll
who's the shorthanded guy? Shifsky's guy. Oh, there's a goal.
Oh.
Doesn't leave the zone. Does that count?
Not really, but
All
why?
right.
Why did the guy out of the box go to the bench?
He didn't. He checked the guy at the top. That was
Looked like
Luca.
It looked like he went off. I have to see that again.
Now, is this going to be Naruto calling a timeout just to yell at his guys for a minute? I don't know.
So Luca goes over here,
No,
and
he
then
goes right
oh,
off.
he does.
And leaves him an extra 10 seconds in the.
That is an interesting decision.
I mean,
Yikes.
that's extending the power play essentially.
Yeah. This is wild because we've been talking about how well coached they've seemed all year.
Well,
and, not tonight.
they're not playing well tonight, and a couple of questionable decisions.
Like, this is weird. Like, I've watched football games where I thought it was hopeless. I've watched basketball games that were obviously hopeless. I don't remember watching a hockey game that was obviously hopeless. in a
Well, we
long
watched
time.
one last week.
Last Friday night wasn't much
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
better. This is going to be on Minnesota.
I don't think it's a penalty.
You don't think so?
They're not doing any, like, penalty stuff, so I suppose not. Let's see.
Should it have been a
How
penalty?
outraged should we be? Not outraged at all.
Not outraged at all.
Just a check. Get up, buddy.
20-2.
20-2.
So part of it is like I don't know.
This has to be a record for Michigan getting outshot in a period.
Part of it is like, okay, you've given up 20 shots in a period. That's way too many. Getting 2 shots in a period is also way too few. Those are, I mean, I guess they're kind of connected, but
Yeah, it's because they have
when they don't have the puck.
because Minnesota has the puck the whole time. So you can't shoot the puck when you don't have the puck, and Michigan never has the puck. This is wild. Alex, when's the last time you felt like this about a Michigan hockey game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't watch the game last week, so
Yeah.
I don't know exactly
I was about
Yeah,
to
I
say
didn't
what
either.
that one
a
looked
week
like.
ago, maybe.
But even that wasn't 20-2
They
in
hit that one on
shots.
NCHC
That's
TV.
that's
so.
true, but I think their XG at the end of that game was like 1.3 or 1.7. Like they created nothing all night. So,
Well, they don't have. I mean,
well, they've been scoring a lot of goals this year.
you mentioned that they have like the talent, but like, do they?
Well,
Like,
they don't have NHL talent. But
Moldenhauer is technically a third-round pick, but he hasn't really done anything.
they went to Boston
a
and
year
they got
and a
10
half.
goals.
That is true, but
Ooh, that's a nice play by Hallam. Good
There
pass.
we go. Oh.
Oh, that's probably the best offensive
Yeah.
little sequence for Michigan has had.
there's no question about that. I think we might have to be up to 5.
Who and was Shifsky in front? Out in front.
Hallam with the stick lift.
Yep, nice little rip.
Didn't really get all of that. I think someone interfered with his stick when he was trying to rip it.
Spent the last little bit trying to remember who number 21 on Michigan is.
What?
The only name I could keep thinking of was Michael Passagov, and I'm like,
That was like
obviously
wow.
3 years
it's
ago.
not him, but who is that? I'm
Hallam's
like,
also been on the team for, well, I guess he wasn't.
He didn't really play last
He
year.
didn't
'cause
play
he got
last year,
hurt.
but the year before he played.
Yeah,
You're not good with numbers?
I just feel like I've been getting hoodwinked by numbers a little bit.
Hoodwinked.
Especially like Jair Hill's changing his number. Like
Yeah,
like,
that's
that
true.
whole thing has made me second guess my knowledge of numbers because the football team has got like guys
Yeah.
changing numbers.
Why is
I'm
Caden
like,
Kolazar
yeah,
in
why
single
are-
coverage
yeah.
on the outside? This looks bad.
I mean, you weren't around when they were changing numbers willy-nilly for Dave Brandon's little patch program.
Oh, I remember. I was
Where like
yeah.
Jordan Kovacs was 32 for like 50 games, and then he came out at 11 in the last game of his career.
Was it just the last game?
Was
Well,
like
it couldn't have been his last game because that was a bowl game where you couldn't see the numbers.
I think it was his last home game,
There
or
you
maybe
go.
the second to last home game.
They gave Devin Gardner 98.
See, like I liked that, because that was like a uniquely Michigan thing.
Uh-oh.
Look at that.
That's
Somebody check someone.
I would prefer not to, Alex.
And then every time they get it, I mean, they just really have been struggling to make any decisive passes with it or any decisive clears.
Well,
They get it free and then they just kind of like feebly whiff with it.
oh yeah, that was a productive offsides. Hockey should not have offsides.
I bet you guys had that on your bingo card.
Well, I can't really talk about the game.
You can talk about how you flabbergasted Andy Duke.
This
The
is just,
third goal was the one that got me because a goal and two, you're kind of like, well, this isn't great, but the team has scored goals this year, and you go and you make a couple adjustments, you come out with a little bit of fire. You know, that's fine. The third
I feel
goal,
that should be a penalty on Minnesota.
3 goals in a period, and
Punch the guy in the back of the head
it
twice
gets
for no
it
reason.
gets pretty steep.
We saw a team come back from 4 goals down just the other night.
And we did.
Thankfully, Minnesota is the Buffalo Sabres, so
Yeah.
we're in
They
good,
might be able to beat the
we're in
Sabres.
good shape.
Yeah, see, let's do that. All he did is like deflect a puck. He didn't even touch the goalie, and it's like, let's just punch this guy in the back of the head. How is that permissible?
Well, they're hard to play against, as
That's a
NHL GMs like to
kerfuffle.
say. Oh, go get the puck. Is Edwards fading away?
Well, it was right in the middle of the two guys.
Right,
You
but
see
he's
that
backing
happen?
up.
Well, Wow.
A little bit of aggression here is, I think, what we need. Isn't that what Don Brown said? Solve your problems with aggression.
Solve your Browns with
Solve your
punching in the
Browns
head.
with the Bengals.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, that's a good look.
That was a
but
good idea.
Nobody there.
But, yeah. Nobody.
Good hold by Edwards. Keep it in. Get a rip.
Okay.
Well, that's
That
a
was-
better end,
That was not a good period of hockey.
but yes.
There's going to be some paint peeled in the locker room
I think so.
this 12-minute intermission. Bum, 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 bum.
All right. Do we have anything in the chat of note?
Let me pull this up.
Comments? How are our levels?
Levels are fine. One guy says, clearly we need to change into our Wolver Bear sweaters at the intermission. This skating gopher swag is too much to overcome.
A commenter suggests that we change into the Wolverbear sweaters because the skating gopher swag is too much to overcome. I've heard worse ideas.
Didn't that happen in Mighty Ducks? Like they switched jerseys and they came out.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I saw Mighty Ducks once.
You saw it
many
once?
years ago. And maybe
Well,
you're
you're a lot
talking
older.
about
You're a lot
2
older than
or
me.
3.
Not 3. 3 was.
It was like Godfather 3. It really sullied the rest of the series.
Is that? I don't know.
You've never seen The Godfather?
You've never seen Mighty Ducks?
No, I have seen Mighty
Okay.
Ducks, but I haven't seen 2 or 3.
Mighty Ducks D2 was fine.
Yeah. What?
Mighty
Ducks Watch Along from Alejandro. Well, there might be some people that could be interested in.
Well, let's boot it up now. I'm really struggling with the concept of doing another 2 periods of this.
So, do you have a favorite recruit from the recruiting class?
Yes, Gavin McKenna.
I don't think he can come mid-year.
A favorite recruit from the recruiting class. I guess I'm gonna go off the well trod path and go with Bryce Underwood.
Non-Underwood.
Non-Underwood. I see. Just in terms of like outperform their ranking kind of thing, or
Whatever.
I hadn't really thought about it, but
This might be a good time to talk about it while I'm writing down power play statistics.
yeah, I'm like,
I liked Shamari Earls quite a bit.
well,
thought that
Shamari,
was
he's a top 100 kid.
Yeah, I
so.
know, but like that.
So are you not? Is there certain people that have been eliminated
But
from
I
this
mean,
conversation?
that was a sneaky big get just for the class.
Well,
like,
yeah,
in general, because they had the corner recruiting's been only so. They're pretty thin at that group. So
Well, and they picked up the kid out of Texas,
Yeah, Jaden Sanders.
who's also close to a top 100 recruit. So they kind of got some reinforcements for the future there. Yeah, I mean, I like Eli Owens, mostly because when we were doing the podcast, he was like, oh, I want, like, Steve Lorenz was telling us that he wants 44 because he loves Max Bredesen. And I was like,
That's your guy.
that's my guy. Because, like, I just don't think people quite understand how important Bredesen has been for the past couple of years, Like,
Well, why would you say that?
well, he doesn't play that many snaps. He doesn't get many touches. He's a guy who shows up and he puts a block on some guy, and everybody's like, oh, nice run.
But that's what they do, though. It's like it. I mean, well, maybe this year we won't really talk about, but the previous couple of years, it's those kinds of blocks that have been.
Yeah, but I just don't know if people understand like how many standard deviations he is above the average as a fullback.
And you
like-
think many?
Yes.
Okay.
Like just the consistency with which he makes his blocks and the consistency with not just making the blocks but winning the blocks. Like that orgy run against Ohio State is all Max Bredesen. Because Sonny Styles is so focused on not getting blown out of the hole by Bredesen that he doesn't even hold the edge. And it's been interesting because I listened to a few post-game Ohio State podcasts for
How many?
scientific reasons. Yeah, a couple.
Any ones you want to shout out for your enjoyment of entertainment?
Oh God, they're so bad. But their perspective is like, oh, you got to hold the edge again. You can't just like let a guy outside, which is true. But they don't really acknowledge that there's a reason that that might be happening, which is something that I think we do for other teams as well. But the different perspective on those plays was like, oh, you can't let that happen. I'm like, well, there's a reason. Like if C.J. Charleston is coming to make that block, I don't think it happens.
Well, he tried a few times this year,
Well, you know,
and then he got hurt.
yeah, and then he got hurt. But you know, it's just
It's not his fault, but why is he doing that?
well, they think they can get an advantageous personnel grouping out there because they have a wide receiver instead of a fullback. And then I'm just kind of like, well, is he really a wide receiver or is he a tiny fullback? Because you never throw him the ball. So like when C.J. Charleston's out there, you're like, oh, this is the run. with the wide receiver being a fullback, and I was just like, Kirk, why are we doing this? So,
But that was true of many things we watched on offense this year. So
yeah, it's interesting because obviously the hand Kirk Campbell was dealt this year was abysmal.
not great.
But even considering that,
Yeah.
the way they approached the personnel they had was equally abysmal.
Well, when
Not our problem anymore.
one of your top 2 or 3 players on offense is always on the bench because you won't play them together, that is a major problem.
Yeah, and it's something where it's like we were talking about this basically as soon as last season ended. Like you got to figure out a way to get these guys on the field together. And
You were bringing that up in like February.
Yeah, and they just never
Yeah.
really. I mean, they even had a package, right, with both of them on the field together, that worked pretty well, and
Yeah.
they just never went with it. It was just the most baffling thing.
Did you see anyone in the portal that you want?
There's a offensive tackle from Rice who just entered. 6
Wasn't
foot.
there one a few years ago?
I don't remember, but
Went to
6'6",
Texas?
345, something like an
It's a
80,
Minnesota tackle.
82 pass pro grade, despite the
Okay,
345.
Yeah, there we go.
Now, Rice didn't play anybody, of course, but he's had a glow up the last couple of years. So he's been a 3-year starter there. Pretty ugly grades as a freshman. Was it redshirt freshman? Probably redshirt freshman. And then significant leap forward in year 2. And then this year, he's like an all AAC guy. He's a biomedical engineering major.
Rice is in the AAC now.
I don't know.
Well,
'Cause, I mean,
Whatever
'cause that's a
conference
decent,
they're in.
that's a decent enough guy.
Yeah, I think
That
they
is
are.
true.
I think they are. But they, I mean, kid goes to Rice. He was born in Michigan but grew up in Texas. But
Okay.
he might have some family connections back here.
What do you think about the Northwestern lineman Thompson? You like him?
I mean, he was the other okay
Yeah,
offensive
the
lineman they
non-Cyan
had.
guy.
And I'm kind of like
His grades are a little better than Preeb's were from like a PFF standpoint.
a
But
little bit, but I'm just kind of like, meh.
we're not settling for that.
Well, so there's grabbing that guy to be like a 1-year stopgap, and then there's like kind of moving on with a second-year player that you hope will develop into like a really good player. So that's a trade-off, right? Because if a guy getting 800 snaps this year, who's a little bit worse than the Northwestern guard you could have picked up in the portal, but you have him for another 2 years after this one, that might be more appealing to me than.
just depends on how close, a
So-
Phobie or Roebuck or whoever is to.
Yeah.
The guy from Rice probably wouldn't struggle to get in, I'm guessing. Like Michigan might actually accept his grades.
Oh, for one, he's a grad student. So
Oh, okay,
Anyone that's
okay.
a grad.
Well, then
is
never mind.
Fine.
Also, we haven't really heard a lot about not being able to get guys in for a minute here.
Well,
And
last
I don't
year
know
we
if,
did.
I don't know if it was ever really a thing in football.
I mean,
Well, they steered clear. I mean, it's always been, for the most part, the guys that almost have the degree but don't.
Right.
So, like, junior rising into senior is like the danger zone. But if you're shooting for underclassmen and you're shooting for grads, you're probably fine.
And these days, so many guys enroll early that a lot of those guys can get their degree.
Well, exactly. I look at these guys that played 3 years in the portal, and I'm like, do they have a degree? I have no idea. Like, there's no way to know without looking at their transcript, but there's certainly a chance.
But yeah, I haven't really seen a whole lot of guys who are like intriguing. There's a Wake Forest tight end who entered, so I looked up his Pro Football Focus grades, and I was like, nope.
tight end though. I mean, you can always take a guy, but feels like
Did you look at the FAU running back?
I don't. Why would you need a running back?
And they contacted him.
I mean, I guess, but I don't think they really need one. Just hand it over to Marshall and Hall, and you'll be good. I mean, really, the places that you can find a difference maker. I don't know if we've really seen guys like that enter yet.
No, I think it's still early stages of that process.
well, will there be playoff team guys that enter that we want to grab? Like, will it be around Christmas when the first round of playoff exits happen?
That's an interesting point because now there's a lot more teams in the playoff.
Right.
And obviously you're not going to leave that team unless you're already, if you're not going to play.
I mean, when you're thinking about where we would be last year in terms of playoff teams in 2023 versus this year, that same point is going to be like what, January 2nd, 3rd?
Yeah, and everybody's saying that the portal is going to be absolutely crazy this year, and I'm like, it might not be as crazy as it's been because you have far fewer COVID shirts left, and
Rosters slimming down though.
okay, but if the rosters go down, like okay, the bottom 20 guys of Indiana's roster need another place to play. Like, meh. None of those people are relevant. There's just
That would be McCulley though.
well, but he wouldn't get cut because he can't be in the 105. But like the number of guys who are in the portal because of the roster cut will be large, but the number of relevant players will be small. So you have that, and then you have the house settlement coming in. So a team like Northwestern, like if they want to keep Tiernan, they can offer him probably more money than Michigan can because he's their only good player. And Michigan, he would just be another offensive lineman. So you might see a little bit less action in terms of like difference makers, especially going like Power 5 to Power 5, Power 4, whatever.
Well, this is a relevant conversation with signing day too. Do you have an opinion on Babalola playing as a freshman?
Well,
Because that changes your portal calculus depending on what you think about it.
I mean, I really don't think you ever want to play a true freshman anything. And then you have Sprague
Yeah.
and Frazier, who will be
Frazier.
second-year players.
Well, so I looked at Babalola's comps, and in recent years, a handful of those mega 5-star tackles have started as freshmen, and they've done okay.
Yeah, but they're like Caden Proctor at Alabama, and Caden Proctor can't pick up a blitz against Michigan because he doesn't know what he's
They
doing.
got him through the year.
Yeah, but like ideally they'd be able to.
I think preferably you don't want to, but
Yeah.
a guy that talented, there's a shot. I don't know. I mean, it depends on the person. Like,
I mean,
some of the scouts I was reading for the Hello were like, he'll need time, and other ones were like, no, right now he can play. Suit him up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You have Gentry coming back off injury, and I think he'll probably be.
We have
We have hockey
we
again.
have puck drop.
Puck drop.
1954 is
A quick whistle for
Yeah.
offsides.
we didn't know that the puck was going to drop because they didn't really lead into it.
No, there was just
It
like,
was just,
and the
oh,
puck's
here
back.
we go. Maybe the FS1 is like, this game is already over. All right, 1950, 49, 48, 47. Well, let's see if we can get more shots this period. I think that Minnesota won't go into, a shell, obviously, but I doubt that they're going to be as aggressive as they've been, unless
I
Michigan.
think they're just going to keep playing the way they've been playing. It's
Do you?
working out pretty well for them.
Well,
you
that-
don't want to change it up after you just completely dominated a period. Like
That's true.
What are they afraid of? Another 5 shots?
Oh boy,
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
that's just
That was really the only pass he could make.
that was a pretty good pass.
All right, anyway, back to recruiting. I don't think we've done
A blowout.
one of these where
No.
it's just like, what's...
We've won all the. We've done 3 hockey games and they've won them all.
We did a basketball.
We did a
and they
basketball one that
lost.
went to
double overtime.
Yeah,
double
the
overtimes
Illinois
when
one, yeah.
you spilled the beer.
Well, it's a good time to spill a beer.
That's a really good pass. That's Hughlin to Wood.
Yikes. Looking grim, fellas. Well, a bracing dose of reality, I suppose.
Maybe FS1
Oh.
will.
Well, here's power play.
All right. I'm going to score 4 times on this minor.
Let's get the puck to Hage.
I mean, it has nothing to do with the goalie, but is changing the goalie just
It feels like having Hage is like not having Hage is disproportionate. Are they sending 2?
Oh, unsportsmanlike on Moldenauer.
They gave
too.
him a dive. Any
No, no, that's
No,
not a
that's-
dive.
Dive
That's-
is embellishment.
Yeah.
This is what they're calling. They're calling.
So
it
they're
dive.
calling the hook there.
They only call it unsportsmanlike now. That's a
That's a
clear as
rule
day
change?
hook. Yeah, it says a clear as day hook that they called embellishment. Any referee that calls the original penalty and then embellishment should be shot into the sun. Have some stones, buddy. Was it a penalty or not?
Well, I don't disagree with that. Why
Yeah,
are we
what's-
just
Oh,
calling penalties for no reason?
But that was a hook clear as day.
the weird thing is you see more embellishments in college than NHL, and I just don't think there are that many like outright divers in college as there can
Well,
be
no,
in the
it's
NHL.
just the officiating is garbage.
Yeah.
Like there's no excuse for that not for that to be called embellishment. Like the guy had his stick in the hands of the opposition offensive player and he went to his knees, sure, but that's not what you're calling. You're not calling a trip.
Yeah.
You're calling a hook.
David, you remember the Jim Montgomery diving video from the playoffs last year?
What him on the bench? You mean?
Yeah, that's what I
His
always
reaction.
think. He wanted a dive call, and,
He just kept going. Yeah. Yeah.
and then he was like acting it out.
Well, now we can do that for St. Louis and bring along Jimmy Snuggerud.
I always feel like a game like this is one where I get like you got to at least have some 10 minutes misconducts happen here.
Like, because you're just getting housed.
Yeah, just like talk a bunch of shit.
It's
to the
too early to
officials.
do that. There's too much time. Oh, Narado's lit now.
Are they calling another penalty?
He says he did the one-handed dive, so now it's going to be 4-on-3 for 34 seconds.
Wait, are they going to the monitor for this? They
are. Who is this? Oh, he hit somebody, and the puck wasn't there.
Let's
There's no reason.
But you can't really see it.
Let's take a look.
Draper's going to hit.
Yeah, there's no
that's it.
there's no major, but
Interference.
it's interference.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
There's your frustration penalty.
Well, no, I'm just saying 10-minute misconduct for just laying into the officials, calling them,
Like TJ Hensick did in the playoff.
Oh,
in the
yeah, except-
tournament game.
not in a playoff, but like in a game where you're not going to win.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like a solid check right to the right shoulder.
Yeah,
Give him 2 for interference, and then
why are they still in the box?
It looks more like a rabid beaver than a gopher.
Craig is correcting his assertion about Bob Motzko to say that he looks more like a rabid beaver. I disagree. He doesn't look rabid right now. Oh, no.
He looks like an egghead.
An egghead? He doesn't look like, you mean like Humpty Dumpty?
Yeah.
An egghead is a nerd, like a applied economics professor.
Well, he could be nerdy. I don't know him. He just looks like he has an egg on his head.
I'm okay. We're just gonna let the
Trying
game
to
go.
find things to talk about.
I know.
In a 4-0 hockey game that, well, let's see if they can kill off a 4-on-3, which is harder than a 5-on-4.
Correct.
well, I don't have to kill it for that long.
Oh, good save.
Dun, dun, dun,
Can we
dun,
get one
dun.
clear?
The
That sounded like some iron.
pointlessness of life. There's no reason to be watching this hockey game anymore.
Quit chasing off our viewer. I hit
Look.
somebody.
If whoa,
All right.
stick flying all over the place. All right.
Period of the long change.
Yeah.
You know what former Michigan Wolverine is really hot right now?
Elvis Gerbach, people's sexiest man of the year. Well, not this year, Craig, but in a previous year he was. Yeah, because the photographer got to Chiefs practice and he photographed the wrong quarterback. Because he thought the starter would be the sexiest man of the year.
I was going to interrupt him, but then I realized that we actually need something to talk about. So.
And like apparently the backup was like a real looker. And Elvis Gerbach was not. I mean, he's like a he's a fine looking gentleman, but he's not like fine.
Who would be for you?
What?
The actual answer.
Who's the
to
guy you were wanting to talk about?
Kent Johnson.
Yeah.
He's on a roll right
He
now
is.
for Columbus.
What does this have to do with Elvis Gerbach?
Nothing, but that was the guy that prompted the whole
When I
conversation.
said who
Oh,
was the former
oh.
Wolverine is
Oh.
Well, he hasn't played much. He's
he
only
got back
played
from
like
he got back from injury and he has like 10 points in 9 games since coming back.
yeah.
The starting basketball team
Uh.
that Elvis Gerbach was on. You know them all.
Whoa. So, power play about to be assassinated.
Well, so that's
Well,
what
that's one positive is they have
they've killed some penalties.
yeah, they've done. They haven't really killed much 5-on-5 time.
Maybe because they're too busy trying to do something offensive instead of just playing in their own end.
Guy's
Yeah,
got pajama
yeah, I
pants
guess.
on.
Pajama pants.
Like that guy.
Those are
Boy.
plaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plaid pants. Do you wear plaid?
Not really.
I don't either.
Well, guys,
Why does Soulier have his mask on?
Maybe he's gonna come in,
yeah, it's not like
get some.
get some time. They put in the third goalie
Well, it happened when we played Penn State.
Yeah.
Except
for
that-
the
except-
other reason.
Except that, except that night, they only had 2 goalies, so he was the second goalie.
Oh,
Sergeyev is still out, I believe.
Brian, did you hear where they I don't remember what team it was had to use a e-bug back in like October.
College team?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, now is that legal?
What?
Because like,
Yeah.
does it have to be someone who's in school then, like on the club
It was
team?
like a team manager
Okay.
who hadn't played hockey in like 6 years.
Are we gonna?
how'd they do?
Actually, not that bad.
Really?
I have to pull up the stats about this. This is like in October.
Yeah. I kind of feel hockey would be more interesting if you could only play a goalie like once every 10 games.
So you had to have 10 goalies.
No, you didn't get to have 10 goalies. You just have to put skaters in at goalie sometimes.
It is pretty.
That wouldn't skew the numbers at all.
Well, I'm just like, we got to stop. Whoa.
I mean, Minnesota's not having trouble with their offense,
No, but,
so
I just think
trying
that
to up the scoring is.
I just
they're
think it'd
like,
be more
why,
interesting.
Brian?
It'd be
Do you
like-
need us to have 14 tonight?
it'd be like Shohei Ohtani, except for hockey. Look, I said a baseball thing.
You did, and I'm surprised you got the pronunciation right more than anything.
Well, he's very famous.
Okay.
He is.
He's in a lot of advertisements.
He also has
New
a,
Balance ads, right?
Yeah, and I'm always like, who's this?
It's kind of a catchy song.
Who's this random Asian guy? Because he doesn't look like an athlete.
He's actually like really athletic.
I know that.
Like besides being a good baseball player, he's also like one of the fastest runners like in the
Yeah.
MLB.
I don't. I'm not
Which is
saying
weird
that
'cause
he's
he's
not an
6'4".
athlete.
and
but
he's jacked.
he just kind of looks like a guy. He's just like, oh, here's a guy. He's got kind of like he's got a kind of a baby face.
Yeah, he's kind of pudgy.
And he's a little, he's not pudgy, but he kind of looks pudgy in the face. And so you're just like, oh yeah, what is this guy, like a chemical engineer or something? Why is he advertising
Hey,
sneakers?
there's a look from Hallam.
Hey, that was good. Shot from the house.
from the middle of the slot for shot number 8. There's a look.
Hey!
Oh,
Boo.
save. Who was that? Edwards?
Yes, it was Edwards. And
4 on 2
the other way, but
kick save. I guess I better write it down.
yeah.
I
What
found
is
it.
what is your game recap going to be like? 'Cause
Bad.
It won't be very long,
this was bad.
since I will be doing this for 2.5 hours, and it will be like 11 by the time I can start. Here's a 3. No.
So I found it. It was Spencer Marquis A student equipment manager who last played goalie for Brunswick High School in 2021 saved 22 of 25 shots in Sunday's season opener for Merrimack.
Merrimack. That's
Yeah.
a Hockey East team.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like American International or
No.
something.
They are going to cease to have a hockey club, unfortunately. This is their last year.
Well, but Tennessee State's coming in.
No, they're not.
No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, they are within a couple of years.
Tennessee State is going to be the first HBCU with a hockey team.
What
Why
conference
not?
are they going to be in?
Probably Atlantic Hockey. That's my
St.
wild ass
St.
guess.
Thomas is moving to the NCHC next year, according to Peter.
Is it only according to Peter or like also other people?
Well, he usually sources his stuff. I generally trust Peter on that sort of thing. He's the one of all of us who actually really loves college hockey. So
What does that mean?
we like Michigan.
Oh, he just
How
yeah,
much
he-
Atlantic hockey do you watch, Brian?
does he watch
Hockey
Atlantic
East?
hockey?
How about Hockey East? You watch a lot of ECAC over there?
No, I do not.
Except
watch-
this year, like what you said earlier.
Oh yeah.
Hockey East is on ESPN Plus. At
They
least,
are,
so-
and their productions are pretty good.
God, I'm so jealous of everybody who gets to be on ESPN Plus.
Well, there are a lot of
Like
folks
you,
that don't.
you can watch like a D2 women's volleyball game, and the production
Well-
values will be immensely better than they would be. On
Maybe, but like they
BTN
just pick
minus.
up whatever the local feed is. So I'm guessing they don't actually bring in their own crew. It's just
But-
they will show it because of a contract
But
with
like
a
the
league. or something.
ball is like on the screen the whole time. It's amazing.
And the whole time they're actually showing the game and not like
Oh,
a
yeah.
random graphic or
Oh, yeah.
a zoom in of pajama pants.
Yeah. Anyway.
We could get Peacock now that we're with NBC.
We
No,
should have Peacock.
well,
Peacock's great.
Well, but I think the Notre Dame games that used to be on Peacock are now on BTN minus.
Argument for Notre Dame never joining the Big Ten was that they don't have to be subjected to BTN minus.
That's
Yeah.
everybody's like, should we join the Big Ten? We're gonna get a lot of money, but you won't actually be able to see our games, so we're kind of torn. That looks like a goal.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it
there's
is.
another one.
Who's number 9?
Is that Pat Falloon's kid?
Pat Falloon.
It's got to be, right?
Is it? It's not Pat though. A Falloon?
Well, no, Pat is the dad.
Is it
Pat
Aiden Falloon? Is Aiden here? Did he walk away?
I think he's in the other room. I don't know.
Oh,
Aiden is Alex's brother, for anyone who wonders what
his
the
name
hell
is
we're talking
August. Is that a name?
about. August Falloon? What? That sounds
So the shot hits.
He couldn't find it.
Well, it's another rebound goal. Wow.
August Falloon. That sounds like the most made up name I've
That's a
ever
nice
heard.
little play. Kicks it to himself.
This is, they should
Maybe he goes by Gus.
They should take Stein out just because.
Gus Falloon.
So we're halfway through the game.
Score
It's
is
5-0.
5-0.
And
We'd sync up the time, but what's
but
the point?
Yeah, we're not actually talking. Not actually talking about the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our recruiting takes
We've
and
made a terrible
breakdowns
mistake.
of names of former NHL players
There's like that.
are not time sensitive.
There's that infamous like Red Berenson story where they went up to Lake State.
Oh yeah, I know what this
early
is.
in his career.
Yeah.
And they lost the first. This was when
Yeah.
Lake State had like Doug Waite. And
Well, they were good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they were a very good team, and they lost 10-0, and they all got on the team bus, and Red didn't get on the bus because
Yeah.
he said, "I'm not getting on the bus with these fucking losers," and then he walked back to the hotel. I'm
No,
like,
he made the coaching staff because I knew a guy on the staff.
Yeah.
And he said I had my like really expensive Italian loafers on that
Oh.
night, and so I had to walk 4 miles in like snow in my nicest shoes that I got. But like none of us were gonna argue with Red.
Yeah.
And so he's like, and he gets back. You gonna buy me a new pair of shoes or what?
and they won the next night. So
Yeah. Well, that's the
why
funny
it's,
thing. Is
that's
this
why
bad
it's a
in these?
infamous story.
If I mean, things have to change, obviously. But if Michigan wins tomorrow, you kind of get out of here with a split, and you're like, okay, because coming into this
Yeah.
is like you don't want to get swept. You never want to get swept.
No.
But if you can get a split, maybe a couple points, you walk away from this a road series. Although Michigan has generally in the last 8-9 years not had a ton of trouble at Mariucci.
No,
not
but-
that they haven't lost games, but they go in and they get splits. They've won They've won in the Big Ten tournament the last 3 years there.
Yeah.
2 Big Ten titles and a semifinal.
See, there is
win.
a Snuggerud, another one. Dave.
Yeah, you remember him?
Yeah, he was playing there about 4 years ago.
And now his kid's there.
Yeah, he really got busy in a Burger King bathroom. Remember that song, A Digital Underground?
I do not.
You don't remember?
No, it doesn't sound like something I would listen
The
to.
Humpty Dance is your chance.
Oh, that was the Aubrey Dawkins guy.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. He looked exactly like the Digital Underground guy. It was amazing.
Brian, did you see who interviewed with West Virginia?
Rich Rodriguez.
What?
And believe me, I am begging for that.
As
to
a what?
happen.
A head coach.
The head coach.
You know, honestly, like
He's taking names and kicking ass at Jacksonville State, baby.
if he can just do what he did at Arizona, which is like be an 8-4
We're
coach,
gonna have a 2-on-1 here.
is that like the end of the world for West Virginia?
Back to him.
Oh,
And another goal.
There
Another
we go.
All right. Well, Craig has been whining for a long time about taking Stein out.
At this
and
point, you take him out just
Yeah.
for self-defense,
Yeah.
really.
I think that I haven't seen many. He's given up rebounds, and that's one of the things that you mentioned that Peter said when they
shots
got
are like
him
$1 billion to 4.
is he does struggle with rebound control, and he's left a bunch of them out, and a couple have been put back. But at the same time,
I mean, again, you get a step up going for a hit, and then it just
well,
totally.
Brian's gone. I guess. See ya later. He's 6 goals, and people are starting to leave the room. Alejandro's gone, and oh no, he's jumping on.
This is my big moment.
Hi, Alejandro. How are you?
Oh my goodness, this is so much
Someone
fun.
in the chat said this has become a drink along.
They're watching. Brian doesn't know where to go.
Oh boy, someone's down.
Did they swing a stick at him? He looks like when you injure a guy in NHL '94 and he just starts like shaking. Here's your chance.
If my voice sounds a little raspy, it's because the pepper spray still hasn't exited the back
Is
of
it
my
the pepper
throat.
spray or sitting out in the cold at Bowling Green?
Oh, yikes.
What happened?
He got hit from behind by Philip Lapointe,
Yeah.
and then
Oh.
he hits
He
who
pinballs
was
a
that?
little bit.
Estapa. I mean, is this a penalty?
I'm not sure it's a penalty.
That could be interference, but that's
Right.
I
like
would, I
that's
would
not-
give him 2 for interference.
the first guy, not
Yeah.
the
First
second
one.
guy. So 2 for Lapointe. But what's Estapa supposed to do?
Estapa can't really
Disappear?
do anything there, yeah.
He doesn't lean into it either.
No, he didn't look like he was actually trying to hit him.
But I mean, you look at the last bit of this game. I mean, they keep hunting hits and not landing many of them, and the ones they have.
Well, that's basically what they've been trying to
Been
do in the
penalties.
defensive end all night.
I mean, yeah. I
Is
mean,
hit some guys and they haven't been able to.
and then the ones they've landed have been stupid and have gotten them penalties. So
This is no,
No
they're not
penalty.
giving any penalty. So Michigan,
well, I don't think they can call interference there, right? So they didn't call it on the
They
ice.
didn't call it on the ice.
All they could do is 5, and they're not going to do that. So
no, Brian has something to say again. Alejandro, you had your chance. You should have told a story or something.
Well, so
How was your break?
It was fine.
Did you get another beer?
I did.
What do you got here for us? Do you want to advertise?
It's a Two-Hearted.
Do you like that?
Yes, it's a very basic beer taste to have, but it's good.
IPA.
I do think the fact that Estapa didn't kicked out is progress.
For Estapa? He's
no,
been fine
no,
this
for
year.
the officiating.
Oh. I mean,
Because-
it's a 6-0 game.
No, but like a couple years ago, wasn't it Garrett Van Wy was going for a check, and the guy he was going to check fell down of his own volition, and that put his head in the strike zone,
Okay.
and he got ejected.
That happened a number of times for a year or two. I think. Here we go.
And this was a situation.
71. So is this?
It's
Oh,
gotta
we're
be
gonna get a
Minnesota.
power play.
I mean, this is a situation where I thought that Estapa was going to get tossed because a couple of years ago he would have been. They had absolutely zero tolerance for any sort of head contact, no matter what happened. And that was head contact, but it was also, oh, now they're going to like go after Estapa because they did the hit and it's 6-0.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
he also hit a guy. Is that late, Alex?
we missed.
Oh, the guy went flying. Is that late? It wasn't.
Eh.
It wasn't on time.
I mean,
But he's trying to fire everybody up.
But anyway, like Estapa would have been booted 2 years ago. I have
they've
no
gotten better
doubt
at it,
about that.
definitely.
Because like he's not headhunting right there, right? And so I think they've done a decent job with that with targeting in college football, where it's like if the guy's not headhunting, they're not going to boot him. Like the Makari Page hit on Will Howard.
Yeah.
Like
That wasn't a penalty.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like,
But I mean, it shouldn't have been a penalty. That was just a football hit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But there was head contact with Makari Page's shoulder, but he's an active runner, so he doesn't get the protection of a defenseless player. And that was not the case in college hockey. So hopefully they're moving more towards that, and it actually has to be a malicious act to get the 5 minutes. Or a reckless one, I suppose. Anyway, score is still 6-0.
Yep. 7:59 to go in the second. Michigan has 9 shots. That's unacceptable. 10 shots. Okay.
Now it's less unacceptable because they got 10 shots.
Fewer.
Yeah, it's fewer unacceptable.
Uh-oh.
Nah, he doesn't have the Jets.
Let's see. Oh, 23 cut in, so.
Nice play by Gavin Brindley.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Man, it was nice having him around.
Yeah.
Or, like, anybody.
So, we've talked about this.
Oh, boy.
Well, that was the best chance of the power
No,
play,
there
and that
was-
went to.
There was a shot Michigan had that was okay.
It was all right, yeah. So, I don't know, Brian, if we've talked about this with you, so we can get your take, but, we talking about Michigan not having the talent or, in some sense, sort of a right fit of a guy, and in my opinion, and I think Alex talked about this a little bit too, is the guy that they're really missing from last year's team is not necessarily Rutger or Brindley, but it's Dylan Duke. Because putting him around the net and a bunch of the goals that he got, they don't really have a like-for-like replacement for that. And he
Well, I
finished...
don't have a like-for-like replacement for any of those guys.
No, but what I mean is that,
This is the Ward Manual
He's-
recruiting class.
he would score around the net on the power play and on rebounds, and just sort of like a grittier guy who plays the contact, plays bigger than what he is, and they don't really have a player like that on the roster. And you kind of, and I think that's one of the struggle.
Hypothetically, you have Ernest.
But that's not really. I mean, if you watch him play, he doesn't really play like that.
No, he's not one of those Ryan Smith net front guys.
Right, and I think that Michigan's skill players benefited tremendously from Dylan being in front, getting tap-ins, getting rebounds, earning positions, screening, that sort of
Well,
thing.
yeah, but also, like, it would be real nice to have Gavin Brindley or Seamus Casey on this roster.
Well, sure. I just think part of what's gone wrong with their power play is they used to have a guy that would clean up a lot of rebounds and loose chances, and that was one of them.
They had like 5 really talented guys on their top power play instead of 1 who's not playing tonight.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but they've scored from the point a decent amount with Edwards and Truscott, so they've replaced a little bit of the shooting there.
I mean, but you're talking about Truscott, where last year it was Seamus Casey. It's
Right.
Like,
But Casey wasn't really a shooter, particularly.
no, he wasn't a shooter. He was just a maestro.
Correct.
Like,
Well, that was
interesting.
Also, they've not pulled Stein. Do you think that they're waiting for the period break, or are they just going to ride this thing out?
I don't know. They might just let him go with it. If they want to run Corpy tomorrow, then they don't want to play him tonight, probably.
Because playing two games in a week will wear you out.
You just don't want to toss in your starter the next night, like in this kind of game.
Yeah.
Give him a clean slate.
Where's Albano? Do you think he's on the trip?
I think they
Do
don't
they
want to
do-
play Albano.
At 6-0? I don't know.
Well, nice thing is that Michigan beat Ohio State, so I don't really have to care too much about this.
Well, the thing about a hockey season is like a basketball season. You kind of can't
Speaking of the
go
basketball
up
season,
and down with every single game.
basketball won at the Troll Center as well, so like.
We should do a basketball watch along and curse them too.
Hey, this isn't a curse. Like, they've won all their games
That's
until
true.
this time,
That's true.
when they were really emphatically not winning.
We didn't do any basketball watch-alongs last year for some reason.
Brian tried, but
Oh man,
this team is a little more watchable.
yeah, but you're talking about the basketball team, yeah.
Well, I mean, the hockey team is watchable. They're just having a bad night. But yes,
Yeah.
I meant the basketball team.
The hockey team is watchable, but it's not like fun.
I don't know.
It's fine
they score goals.
sometimes.
Well, they score a lot of goals. They've won a lot of games.
They have, but it's just not the same. Like, there's no one doing.
Brian doesn't just want to win. He wants to win in style.
That's correct. That
There
is
we go.
absolutely correct.
Get on the board.
Oh.
Somebody. Oh, Moldenauer had a chance.
But like the goal that Hage scored
Against Western.
where
That's
he
a
just
pretty
kind
nice
of plucks
goal.
it out of the air, and like that's what I watch hockey for. I want people to do like oh, that's interference. No,
No, the puck
Nah,
was
I mean-
bouncing by it.
That's close. It just like, yeah, he threw the puck at the net and there was a deflection and the puck went in. Those shouldn't even count. They got to have style points.
Oh, Moldenauer got hit up high there. Are we going to get a call?
Looks like it.
Or no one's raising their... Oh, Shifsky's ready to fight. Of course, he's from Minnesota, so he's got a bone to pick with some of these players.
Yeah, Moldenhauer is not getting up there.
So the problem is that when you have 14 forwards on the roster, and then you're missing Michael Hage for some reason, and now Moldenauer gets hit in the head, now you're dressing all your forwards. We ran into that last year. And I know Rutger left late, but...
Yeah, I do think that they thought they were going to have him.
Yeah.
Okay, 15. Alex and I were talking about probably looking at 16 was what you'd probably want at least. After last year, you probably overreact and be like, look, we're not icing 10 guys and Tyler Shea anymore. Maybe Tyler Shea wasn't on last year's team.
Oof.
That is a high hit there with an
Kind of
elevated
unnatural.
elbow.
I mean, he goes by
Oh,
it
yeah,
and
he
bonks
kinda
him.
chicken wings him a little
Yeah.
bit.
I mean,
is that Chesley?
His elbow is elevated.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's moving
that's
back.
bad.
He's probably gone.
So could that be a 5-minute?
Yeah, I mean,
If you're
he's-
going to reverse hit him, just reverse hit him.
Right. You don't need to throw your arm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's throwing his arm out. Like, the only thing that you're aiming for there is the head. That feels like 5 in a game. Not like it's going to matter.
Right.
But
I guess if there's a game when you're going to get it in, this is the time when you take your
Yeah.
shot. I had a friend who plays beer league hockey, and he says that he has a list of people that when he's going to go on vacation, and so he knows he's going to miss the next week's game, he goes and gets his check or spear in on somebody, and then gets suspended for the next week's game. But he's like, "Oh, I'm out of town anyway." So, isn't that a good idea?
no.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure where you
Because
stand
then,
on
like,
that.
when you come back, you have enemies.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Probably does anyway.
All right, let's see what's going to happen here. I think this guy's out.
Yep.
And
Yep. Yeet.
Not much question about that. 4 on 4 for
So
2
then
minutes,
for
then 3
Shifsky,
minutes.
Shifsky came
Got
in
his
and
fight
yeah,
in.
Yeah, he was like,
I don't have a big issue with that from Shifsky. I mean, you're
No, it's 6-0. Your
6-0.
guy got cleaned
Yeah,
out.
You got to stand up. You got to send some messages.
Honestly, at this point, just run over the goalie.
Well, he's not playing tomorrow anyway. It's probably going to be Sulia.
Now just repeatedly run him over.
So run over the backup on the bench. Just take a dive into the bench and take out tomorrow's starter.
yeah, just
All right.
like Like, get everybody kicked out of the game. The people will be talking about it. They'd be
Are
like,
you allowed to say on air what you said after the Will Howard hit
What?
on Saturday?
What?
I received a text from your brother about a comment that you made.
I don't remember.
wow.
He's dodging.
Well, if he doesn't remember, he doesn't remember. Let's not get him sued. The other fun thing about this is Mariucci is currently livid, and they're winning 6-0.
Why would they be livid about that one? That one looks
Well, they thought that they deserved a 5-minute major,
Hockey fans are not Logic fans. They just come
and
to
they
yell
didn't get
and
one,
boo
and now
cheer.
they've been assessed a 5-minute major, and so they're wroth with the unfairness of the officiating. Ugh. So 4-on-4.
Nope. They've created almost nothing.
Well, their one skilled offensive player is not playing. I mean, I guess, they have some guys.
I mean, but he doesn't play for the other 35 to 40 minutes of the game, too.
I still think 25 minutes of Michael Hage would have made things less bad. Not obviously enough to win, but
it would have made maybe. I mean, but okay, let's say he has a wonder game and scores 2 or 3 goals. How much different are you feeling about this game?
well, it might be 4-2 because you have more puck possession. No, I'm serious. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't just like
I don't think
he needs to score goals, but
He's not Sidney Crosby. I mean, like he's.
Well, no, but
he's
he
a
is.
good-
but
he's
he's your
a good
best
player.
player. Like,
Correct.
there's no question about that. And-
But he's not like.
but
I
you,
mean,
you
they
know-
have. I mean, Minnesota has like 3 of him.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like when they've got 3 of them, having one is nice.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Just shooting gallery, not hitting the net all the time, but.
Well, they only have like 9 shots this period, so there's
Well,
that's
it's sort of what
improvement.
I said was like once it got to a certain point, you're kind of like, all right,
Yeah, that's just
we're going to.
the rest of this
So
game
now-
is just fighting. It's just Blades of Steel from here on out. Blades of Steel was a video game,
Yeah.
Alex, on the
For Nintendo.
Entertainment System.
Who were you when you played on that?
Tampa?
They were not in the game. Sorry.
Oh, weren't they?
No.
Well, I'm still sticking with Tampa.
Okay.
And there was like that, like the video game you could play, but after the second period, where there was like
The shooting. The
the
Contra
Galaga kind of thing.
Yeah. The
Galaga?
there was- It's something.
Which is it? It's Galaga. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, people don't do that anymore. They don't put random video games from another genre in your hockey game anymore.
Couldn't tell you the last time I bought a video game, or at least a hockey video game.
Yeah?
It's been a while.
Yeah, I guess it's been a while for me too, but I think I would have heard about it.
Okay.
People on the internet would have been like,
We know
hey.
people that play those games.
Yeah.
That's our connection.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we
Now
can
they
get
actually have a power play, so
Well, we had one before.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not the last 2 minutes because it was skaboosh. So my son
Okay.
had a field trip today
Oh yeah.
to the University of Michigan Art Museum.
Did you go?
I did. I chaperoned.
Okay.
And-
How many were you in charge of?
Well, so there are guides there who are like working for the museum who do all the talking, and then his teacher was also with me, and then there were like 8 kids, and I was just kind of like, I was basically just trying to box them into a certain area when they tried to leave.
Did you have like extended arms where you're just kind of like hurting? And
There was a point where I was like, hey, over there.
you there?
Yeah, and it doesn't really work very well.
They don't listen to that.
Well, sometimes they do, but there's this one kid he's out of his gourd. He's just touching everything and running around with his hat on.
Should he not have a hat on?
Well,
It's cold outside today, Brian.
yeah, but it was inside.
Ooh, that's
hey.
pretty nice. Good save. Aries played.
Oh.
Wow, this is going to be a
just
breakaway.
toasted.
Hey,
And
good
did that
job.
jump off his stick?
I think he.
They got numbers.
I'm probably going to be almost offside. No look. Nothing.
Well, what are we doing?
Oh,
It's just power play actually looks pretty okay. Getting some opportunities. Ooh,
A nice
nice
hold.
keep. 7
Have
oh,
a
in
go.
the period.
Right at the guy.
But anyway, so there's this room that
What are we doing now?
They put him in,
Rolling around. Okay, yeah.
and there's all this art behind these windows, and they're all kinds of different things. There's like Chinese mortuary art, and there's like this wood stuff that's pretty cool. And just all periods and all different mediums and stuff. And they're like pointing out the things that they think are cool. And one kid is just like, I like things that are blue.
Yeah. All right.
I think that was the same
Was it
kid
me?
with the hat. But at one point, I'm just kind of looking around this room because they're doing something else. And it's like, ooh, modern glasswork. And I'm looking, and one of the pieces says Bon Jovi on it. And I was like, what? There's like a tribute to Bon Jovi in glass in this museum?
So did you ask the docent what that was?
I did not ask the docent about why that said Bon Jovi because they were,
The second period has ended.
The second period has ended.
We are all on the same page here.
'Cause they
We've
were
gone to
busy
commercial.
dealing with, like,
You can go back to your art story.
12 kids or whatever, so I decided that that was not very important.
would you chaperone like a class trip over a weekend?
Whoa.
That's funny. Is that a joke?
Like if the 8th grade class is going to your son's in 8th grade.
Eighth
they're
grade
going
is-
to like DC or whatever, and they need 5 parents to go on the trip.
8th grade is different. I would definitely not do it for 3rd graders
Sure.
because some of those kids are crazy.
But there's just
What do
like
you think they're going to be like in 8th grade?
They're going to be mean, which is much more tolerable. Because it's just like, oh, that kid's shitty. That's fine. But they're not going to run around touching all the stuff that they're not supposed to touch. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Like they're just going to be sullen and like sit in the corner, and that's easy to deal with. You're just going to be like, you're sullen.
there's a
Hope you're not really surprised.
What? Surprised by what?
I don't think it's necessarily going to be easier to keep track of 8th graders.
Oh yeah, they're much easier.
Okay.
Because they're all depressed. They just sit in the
I think
corner.
he's answering your question. The answer is
Anyway,
no.
what is your question?
No, just like are you like are you a chaperone parent? Because like I from middle school in particular, I remember there's like some parents that are like no interest. I don't want to chaperone any trips ever.
Yeah.
And then there's some parents that are like I have to chaperone every trip because I need to be with my child, like even on the thing. And then there's parents in the middle. They're like, yeah, I might want to go on the DC trip.
I think I'm in the middle
Yeah.
where it's like, if they're going to go to the museum for an hour or a park for an hour to do like nature stuff. Yeah, that's totally
Sure.
cool. Because like kids are fun to be around when you're not personally responsible for anything they're doing. And there's only one that I'm like, hey, you, no. I mean, I do it to the other ones, but there's only one that I care about his response really. But the whole like weekend
Yeah.
whole thing, I think that might be a little bit too much. So I think I'm in the middle there.
It's definitely dedication.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was in high school, like I did Quiz Bowl, surprise.
Yeah.
And we didn't have like a teacher who wanted to do it, so one of the other guys on the team, his dad just did it.
Yeah.
And he was super into it. And he was an Indian guy who was like a first generation immigrant. So
Sure.
The fact that we were doing Quiz Bowl was like very appealing to him. It was like this is a worthy thing for teenagers to be doing. So I would do that. Like the whole like there's a team, there's
Sure.
an event, there's like things that you can be like invested in. But like, going to the Washington Mall for the millionth time. Meh.
I think your kids might be. Are they going to be first robotics kids? I could see that.
Oh yeah.
You could be a robotics dad.
Oh well, so I'm like I coached Science Olympiad last
Okay.
year,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was So I did mystery architecture where they just give you some random stuff and you're supposed to build a structure that can hold a tennis ball. And whoever has the tennis ball highest like wins.
Sure.
And so like we practiced it for a few months, and then they had the competition, and so I'm like, oh, I hope these kids do well, and like you can't be in the room, which is really frustrating.
Right.
So you can't, no coaches, no parents, no anything in the room. It's just the kids. So I'm waiting to see like what happens with the second grade team, and they come out and they're like, how'd you do? And they're like, oh, I think we finished first or second. They did not. There are 8 teams that place, and they did not place. And that's fine. Like, I don't need them to place. I just, like, would have appreciated, like, more accurate information about what I should expect. Wisconsin's up on Michigan State.
1-0.
1-0.
Did you have any class trips, like individual, like as the whole class did when you were in high school?
There
middle
was
school?
there was the DC trip.
Yeah.
I don't
What
think
grade did you go?
I didn't go. For whatever reason. I think I was like, I don't want to go to that. So I didn't go.
Ours
we-
was 7th grade.
There was like an annual, like the physics teacher took everybody to Cedar Point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I
that
went
was
on all the
9th
Cedar
grade.
Point trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the bus to Cedar Point. And then the physics teacher was like, "This is the only time of year I allow myself to have the deep fried cheese." And I was like, "Is this a problem the rest of the year? Like you're just like being tempted by deep fried cheese? Everywhere you go, there's more deep fried cheese to be avoided." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a chair over there.
He said to the internet at large.
Somebody. Well, we can bring in another person now because there's an empty chair. Is there a line outside? Alejandro, in addition to pie eater, controller, TV manager, do you want to be the bouncer and let one more person in since we have a chair?
Oh, yeah, the big crowd outside.
I'm sure. Well, there might have been at the start, but probably not.
they
since
probably
the last
went
like
home.
4
They're like,
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it conceivable that there's not a single person watching at this point?
Well, there.
I mean, not because of you guys.
There's
We have
79 people.
79 people?
We still have 79?
Wow.
All right.
You guys are derelicts.
This is pretty good. But is there anything else going on in the chat that we need to discuss? Are there any interesting
let me
comments?
take a look.
I'm having people text me about going to on a 7th grade DC trip
Yeah.
and being at a wedding at the art museum.
What?
So apparently there's a wedding at the art museum.
I was at a wedding at the art museum.
You were too?
Yeah.
I wonder if you're at the same wedding.
I don't know. It was Nick Gorski's wedding.
Oh. I don't know who that is. All right. Update us on the chat.
One person suggests that Minnesota will come closer to hanging 100 tonight in Ohio.
So we don't have a microphone on Alejandro.
Yeah.
So
One of the wags in the commenters said that Michigan, what am I even saying? Minnesota will come closer to hanging 100 than Ohio State did last weekend. Wah, wah, wah.
or any weekend.
Any weekend.
Do you have a?
Or is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're just ignoring. There's no other.
There's no like questions.
Is there any comments of
No,
how good Brian's stories are, or how good he looks in like a nice collared shirt with little dots on it?
I don't think I've ever seen Brian in one.
Well, I wore this to the field trip, and one of the kids was like, "Why are you dressed all fancy?" And I was like, I don't know.
I have a watch along tonight, kid.
I was like, I'm at an art museum. It feels appropriate to put a shirt on.
Okay.
Gotta respect the art.
Ashton Jainty up to 2,400 yards on the
Oh,
season.
on the overall, they're up by what 21.
The Rich Rods are romping tonight, 38-6.
The Rich Rods.
Over WKU.
So
Wait, Jacksonville State?
Yep.
yeah,
Are they
They're
FBS now?
yeah.
yeah.
This
They,
is their second year, third year.
they moved up a couple years.
Oh,
ago.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Army 21-7 over Tulane.
Ooh, well, that's better get touchdowns on your last 2 possessions, Tulane.
Joe Craddock might have spent the week
See what you did there.
thinking about other jobs and
He lost his job.
not preparing for the conference championship game.
I mean, they could have like punted twice in that game. They might have 3 possessions total.
Do you have a what's your number 1 on the OC list? So right now,
I mean, there's not like a slam dunk candidate really. Like I like Mullen, but it doesn't really feel like he's in strong consideration. So Craddock seems fine. Just somebody.
Somebody. Should we
With
bring
a
back Kurt
track
Campbell?
record. Like,
Campbell is better than anybody else out there.
well,
Craig is wondering
asking
if
if
Kurt
Kurt Campbell is better than anyone else
out there. Well, then Michigan football
Is
should
in
cease
trouble.
to exist.
Well, then
if I'm watching that,
boned, Craig.
if I'm watching that offense again next year, I am probably not renewing my tickets for the following year.
Well, I mean, like,
Look, they had no player.
I know, like, I kind of harp on this, but especially with Bryce Underwood, you want a guy who's like good at running the quarterback.
yeah. Well, that's why Dan Mullen's appealing. I
Yeah.
mean, has a pretty long track record with that.
Yeah, and then Craddock's guy is running the ball some too, and like, it just feels like you can get away with playing him earlier in his career than you would otherwise, as long as you have that aspect to your offense. And
Yeah.
if you're just gonna kind of half-ass it like Michigan has done the past few years, that's gonna be
Well, that's in part to me why the Miller Moss thing is a little questionable, just because if you're hiring an OC to build an offense around Underwood, you're going to need that QB run to be a feature of it, and then Miller Moss doesn't really bring that.
well, yeah, but like I don't want Thomas Castellanos because he's terrible.
What
Right?
about Salter from Liberty, Caden Salter?
Caden Salter is okay, except he's turning the ball over 1 million times per game. So, kind of feels like, do I want Jeff Sims? No.
Well, you got to take somebody.
Yeah, and so like if Miller Moss is up for it, then yeah, Miller Moss.
Would he bring?
One of those receivers with him?
Well, Hudson just entered the portal, right?
There's and I think another one did too. So,
Do you have any thoughts on extending Ward Manuel?
well, it's
Another couple beers?
well, what are you gonna do? Maybe by the time of this extension, he'll do anything that we can see that he's done.
Do you think that'll happen?
No.
I don't either.
It's like if you tried to like dial up the most replacement level athletic director in America in a lab, that's what you get.
Yeah. He seems to be pretty competent at spreadsheets.
He's
And
he's got a
Are you?
WAR
Well, you are.
0.000.
Not in the negative?
Apparently, they're putting Corpy in for the third period. Probably turn around all our fortunes. Thank you, Alejandro.
I'm sure he got that from Twitter. He's not like peering into the locker room.
Hey, man, he's an intrepid reporter.
He's got his ear to
For many years, Jim
Yeah.
Harbaugh was pointing at him on our website.
It's true. He's a real go-getter, aren't you?
A real go-getter. He's a real toe tapper.
He could probably dance. I think Alejandro can dance.
Wait, what did you
You know,
say?
You have the Latin spice, you know.
Oh, you're being racist? We said we're not going to be racist. Alejandro just did something really racist.
Against himself?
Yes.
Okay.
Which
that
apparently
count?
you're allowed to do.
Or
So,
it's
there's
kind
a-
of great that the Fox crew has to go sit out.
They
That
look
Urban
cold.
Meyer has to go sit outside in Boise, right?
he's like, I wish this was it in Indianapolis.
Where I was watching Michigan win again for the third year in a row.
Well, no, because their athletic, Gene Smith, said that instead of a home playoff game, they might want to play in a dome.
Dome.
Well, that
yeah,
was
I
a few
remember
years
that.
ago, right? I mean, that wasn't recently.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, because
The game has started.
happened
We're
to Gene
20,
Smith?
20 seconds into
he retired,
Oh,
into this third period here.
and now Bjork is their.
See
maybe
if
he'll-
Michigan
Athletic
can get a
director.
power play
he'll run
goal.
the Bears after Kevin Warren is done.
There was a report that I don't necessarily believe because it came from a radio guy on Twitter that Harbaugh was interested in the Bears job, and Kevin
Wait,
Warren
this year?
quashed it.
Yeah, I don't really
Why
believe
would
that, but did.
why would he want to do that?
I did read an athletic article like a few weeks back that was like the Bears won't hire a high-profile coach because Kevin Warren doesn't want to be like outshone.
What?
Like he doesn't want to cede power, basically.
Oh Lord!
That's a nice save from
Kevin
Corpy
Warren
on the
doesn't want to be
2-on-1.
outshone. You can't outshine Kevin Warren, baby. He's
Well, right, but
the
that's
alpha and omega.
Right, but that's like in part the Trent Baalke thing. In part, like there's some GMs and
Some GMs
executives
who are
who
like,
just
yeah.
like don't want the coach to be the bigger draw than themselves.
Yeah. Hey, Alejandro, you know what would be interesting is if you got an interview with Sean McGee and it just would be like, so what do you do? Because I'm sure he does a lot of stuff. I just want to know
Well,
about it.
last year you were trying to get him to get an interview or to do a sponsorship with Junior Colson about
Right, because he loves mattresses.
Right, and sleeping.
Yes.
So now we've moved on to.
Well, like that was mostly just for comic relief. But this is actually like I'd be interested to see like what is McGee's like day-to-day job.
Well, there you
like.
go.
He seems to be pretty
Will
good at
Will
it.
you post that interview on the site?
I'll link it. Yeah.
I'll link it. He's like Alejandro's like you almost had me.
What? No, he
But,
doesn't work for us.
Huh?
I'll do it for exposure.
Yeah.
He works for 24/7. I'm just
He
like,
works for a lot of people.
he's not
okay?
allowed to like go interview McGee and post it on our site.
Oh, well,
He has an employer.
so that he says.
There's plenty of
Craig
evidence
is
that he
speaking
is
for
employed.
Sam right now.
He posts many articles on a website that is not our website. I feel like he's employed. This is just my hunch.
The last one was very good, too. It was long and good.
The game has resumed.
It's all you read it because you mentioned it on the radio today.
No one's really paying attention.
Nobody's paying attention. We're up to 82 viewers. We've gained.
We've gained viewers.
Who's tuning into this?
Brian, who are you taking, Penn State or Oregon?
Ooh.
Oregon. There's no
Yeah.
question about that. Like,
Come on, big game, James.
well, it's just like the thing is that Oregon has every wide receiver screen that's ever been known to man. They're all extremely effective. They have that sort of wide run game. They're better than any other team in the country at nerfing the Penn State defensive ends. So it's like, well, what do you got?
Mm-hmm.
You got some running backs that can run in a straight line. Great.
Drew Aller.
Drew Aller, the tight end, Kevin Warren, not Kevin Warren, Douglas Warren,
Tyler Warren,
Chad Warren,
Donovan Warren,
Warren Harding.
Sprinkle Warren.
Davis Warren. Well, they had didn't he snap a ball and then he caught the touchdown on the same play
That was
against USC, right?
Oof.
I thought that was the Bills quarterback, Josh
Well,
Allen.
That's
that was
well.
that was
he
a
he
pass to
took
himself.
the snap
Yeah.
and threw the pass.
It was a hook and auto ladder.
He snapped the ball to himself, dropped back, threw the ball.
Hey, that was
Shifsky
almost a.
shot on net.
I think it was.
I think it went wide.
I mean, the shot disparity is now far less humiliating.
Yeah, well, that's what happens in hockey.
Goal disparity.
When you get all the
not
goals,
so much.
Michigan's done this a number of times in the past where they've just had a lot of chances and shots and goals, and then they're like, you know what?
We're just gonna chill.
We're going
Yeah.
to just defend our own end and make you score 4 or 5, which other teams have said we will in the past too. So.
So Alex, like, what's your handicap of like likelihood
Oh.
that Michigan picks up one ridiculous high-end CHL draft pick next year?
I'm willing to believe it's possible. I don't know if it's those guys in particular, but I do think with the new alignment, we will see some CHL players decide, okay, play in the CHL bit. Now I'll give one an NCAA season.
So aren't there contracts? Aren't they under contract?
Yeah, but I don't know how that applies to.
Well, they're not paid except for a very basic per
Stipend, yeah,
diem. So
yeah.
it's like,
But they
what
still
are the-
sign
what-
a deal.
Yeah, but what are
saying-
the penalties for getting out of that contract? I guess
I don't know.
Well, and would the club waive it?
Well, and then you start getting into some issues where, like, okay, if you're going to be a hard ass about that, you might hurt your marketability to certain players who do want to go play college.
But it's a draft though, so those players don't choose to go play there.
Well, I mean, it's a draft, but the draft is sort of the overriding concern is whether the kids will report.
Yeah.
And some kids will be like, I won't report here, I won't report there, I'll do something else. And they might be bluffing, but often it's difficult for teams to take that chance. So, like, if you...
Well, he kept it out, I guess. Although, then they blew a whistle.
Got a
Was the
very
net
bad-
off?
Hopefully Corpy's okay.
I think he's fine. He's just grabbing his equipment. Accessories. Oliver Moore. Oh, that kind of went under his pad. Oh, he gets hit, taken out by his own guy.
That Minnesota logo looks exactly like this.
Whoever that is does a cross check in the back.
Oh, yeah. 10 cross checks. Someone.
They didn't call it.
No, they did not call it. They just want to go home at this point. But the interesting thing about McKenna in particular is that he is not eligible for the next draft.
Right.
Correct.
So he could, he's already pretty dominant in the Dubs, so you could see him move up, play NCAA 1 year, and then he's gone. I could certainly see that world.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's pretty much locked in to be the number 1 pick that year, right?
Pretty much. He's Connor Bedard's cousin, fun fact. Also, he's from Yukon Territories. But
Really?
Yeah. So that one I could definitely see. And
Yeah, the other guy, like Porter Martone, is that his name?
Yeah, that's
That one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me
No.
because, like, if he's going to be the number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft, won't he just sign?
Probably, that's my guess.
So then, like, the assumption there is that it would be a mid-year entry, but that doesn't seem particularly likely.
No, there's no way.
So
Like-
then why would you talk about a guy who's
I mean, it's
gonna be in-
possible Porter Martone could say, hey, if I don't sign in the NHL, then I might.
Yeah, and
Consider going
sometimes
to
you do
Michigan.
see guys like that, like
Well,
Steck,
so
like
there's
Owen
been-
Power played. After
He's not a
the draft.
defenseman, is he? Because usually
No, he's a
defensemen
forward.
defensemen hang out for a couple
so
of years.
an
but-
issue that there has been is that the AHL and the CHL have this issue where you can't play in the AHL if you're eligible for the CHL. And this has been an issue with prospects, where a prospect becomes too good for the CHL, but they're not ready for the NHL. And unlike college, they can't go to the AHL. There's a deal there. So, like, right now, Rutger is in the AHL because he's not good enough for the NHL. If Rutger was playing, if he came from the Kitchener Rangers, his choices would be Kitchener Rangers or Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, not
but if you go to college,
quite,
you
'cause
have that option.
He's,
But
And
he's
old
old
enough that he could.
yeah. I mean,
You need a
whoever
first
you
or
want.
second year
Nazer
player.
would be another example.
Yeah.
I mean, so the point being that let's say Porter Martone isn't quite good enough to be in the NHL, he couldn't go to the AHL if he was still affiliated.
Could he like sign with Michigan and then leave for the AHL?
I don't know,
Ooh.
but he could go to Michigan, and that could allow him at least another place to play. That would be a different challenge.
And it does seem like nowadays it feels like the NCAA is regarded as a better league than Major Junior.
It's so you play older guys.
Older,
and
like
that's
not necessarily like
yeah.
everybody's as talented, but instead of playing,
I think it's a pretty big trade-off for me in terms of like development, but like the caliber of play is better, I think. Like CHL, what you gain is you gain a professional schedule. And so an issue we see sometimes with NCAA guys when they go to the NHL is they're not used to playing more than 40 games, and they play only 2 days a week.
And they're on
they're
the same
good
games.
for the first few months, and then they hit a wall because they're just not used to 82 games. CHL,
just getting played because the guy didn't want to go to a particular team in the OHL draft.
They're going to come to Michigan and then they go to the CHL. It'd be nice to get one in reverse.
Yeah.
Like all those goalies in a row. Was it Gibson and Campbell?
yeah. Well, Greedon didn't want to go to. He wasn't there to play school.
Yeah,
is
I was
my
about to say.
understanding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, another thing about this team is they lost Gridden.
Oh,
Yeah.
we are offline.
We are offline. Perfect opportunity to find another beer.
Are we off internet?
That's what it said.
I think so, 'cause it's working fine right here.
Hmm.
It's actually maybe still streaming, so I can actually see you.
Are we not on the internet? No, I'm on the internet.
And like I can see him walk up.
Wait, it's still streaming?
A little bit very choppy.
Well, I guess if we're still streaming, that I should continue talking.
Oh,
All
indeed.
right, 12-14 to go in the game.
What's your-
6-0.
What's your favorite Christopher Nolan movie?
Do you think I'm someone else?
Interstellar, just Interstellar.
He did the Batman
It's definitely
ones
not Interstellar.
with Heath
No, it's
Ledger.
not.
And then he did Interstellar. Why do you hate Interstellar?
We can talk about that. Interstellar's fine. It's just a little overrated.
Overrated. It wasn't even reviewed well when it came out.
It's reviewed more favorably by normal people.
By smart people.
Whoa. Well, it's in theaters again for like a 10th anniversary.
10th anniversary, yeah.
I was maybe going to go see it, but the nearest one is 30 miles away, and I like the movie, but I don't
nearest
like it
theater?
that much. The nearest theater that's showing.
Oh.
It's like an IMAX, which can be a pretty cool experience.
Have you been to IMAXs?
Yeah.
When IMAX came out, it seemed like such a big thing.
Well, like the
When IMAX
there's
came
like,
out, you weren't born.
Well, no, like when I was
there's
younger.
like IMAX, and then there's like IMAX.
Like I remember as a kid that like when I was like 7, the idea of seeing like Happy Feet in IMAX was like the biggest thing of all time.
Well, you were 7.
Did you ever go to Cinerama?
So the original IMAX theaters, the screen was absolutely gigantic.
Right.
Like
Well,
you,
yeah.
you couldn't. There was no peripheral vision. It was all screen.
Okay.
And then there's like the like converted. You can go to a regular movie theater IMAX, which is bigger and cooler, but it's not quite that.
Still streaming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just says it's
I
a
went and
YouTube
saw
specific
Dune.
thing. I don't know.
On an IMAX.
I
How
guess
was that?
because I didn't stop
was
the stream.
rad.
Oh, yeah?
It's still receiving info
Yeah.
from OBS.
It was like the
Did you like the original Dune?
What do you mean the
Wasn't there a movie-
the David Lynch ones?
I don't know.
from the 80s.
That, like they just didn't have the technology there to make it look not stupid. Like it's a very complicated science fiction novel.
Were you a Dune reader?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so, of course.
I mean, come on.
I was
2-on-1. Oh, another save. Good job, Corpy.
so the band did a halftime show that was all like desert themed. And the last one they did was like music from Dune. And at one point the band spelled out "I must not fear," which is the first line of the litany against fear. And so then I recited the next 3 lines, and my cousin's wife
in the stadium.
in the stadium. My cousin's wife just looked at me and was like, "Oh my god!"
Was she surprised? She
I-
met you?
Yeah, I mean, she's met me, but like, there's
Levels to your.
there's levels.
Nerddom?
Yeah, there's levels.
All right.
But yeah,
What is your Nolan favorite? Is it Interstellar?
it might be. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, maybe.
Well, what's yours? Because you clearly disagree with that.
I mean, Inception was pretty great.
Yeah, Inception's good. I mean, mine's probably The Dark Knight, but I loved Oppenheimer, so
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
probably one of those
Oppenheimer
two.
was good,
Although probably Memento third. The Prestige is really good too.
Oh, he did the
But
Prestige?
He did the Prestige.
Oh, I saw that. That's probably the only movie that we've talked about that I've seen.
Did you see Insomnia, Brian?
No, I have not seen Insomnia.
Have you lived Insomnia, Brian?
This year? Yes. It's very frustrating when you're like awake and you're like, I could have been doing something, but then I didn't do something.
Why didn't you do something?
And then it's time to like write a UFR, and it's like 9 a.m. and then all of a sudden it's noon, and you're like, oh shit.
Well, there's plenty of time now.
There is. I'm gonna catch up on stuff.
All right.
This lady is trying to sell us some detergent.
This is
We're talking more about the detergent commercial than the game.
not.
Justifiably.
Oh man, this is probably the worst possible outcome for a watch along.
Well, yeah, it's just like you're just getting dunked on.
I mean, if Michigan was winning 6-0, even if it was a blowout, we could at least be talking about the game and the team
Yeah.
and that. And it's just this feels a little bit like last Friday, where about the second period, I was like, well, this game's bad, and I'm just gonna flush this one, and hopefully they don't do this again tomorrow. And then they didn't, and they came
No.
back. And Western's a good team.
Western's a very good team.
Yeah, and they get good goaltending. They play good defense, and Michigan made a couple of adjustments.
I mean, that's
and-
the weird thing is like Michigan looks like the worst hockey team in America today, and then tomorrow they'll
Well,
probably be okay.
That's the thing about sports that aren't football is you can do that and for a few games, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I mean, preferably you don't do that against Minnesota, but still.
Wow, the attendance.
Oh, look
here
at
is
them standing
crap.
up and
I mean, like,
standing and sitting. Oh, it must
what
be
is
for
this,
goals.
like 50% full?
Woo. No, it's more than 50.
I mean, look at all those
They're not very
yellow
good at
seats in the.
Guesstimating.
I don't know. Like Minnesota fans are still so mad about the WCHA not existing anymore.
Do you know a lot of Minnesota fans?
Well, anytime a Minnesota fan posts anything on the internet that's about hockey, that's the first thing they say.
Where do they do that? Oh,
Go for Puck Live.
Do you go there?
No.
Wow, 3-0 Wisconsin.
Wow.
They're gonna foul the Spartans.
Foul.
Fell.
Fell.
Oh, fell. Is that a movie reference?
No, it's like a tree.
Felling the Spartans? Yeah, I
Felling
know,
the
but
tree.
like
No.
that was
What are you talking about?
like the movie 300.
Oh, so now you've watched movies.
I didn't see it. Of course, I didn't see it. I don't watch movies. I'm too busy for that.
I did
Brian.
watch that
I got
movie.
UFRs to write.
It's visually interesting and extremely dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it fits Michigan State perfectly.
you find them visually interesting.
I said interesting, not like good. But State has those jerseys where it's just like
Oh, I
neon
see.
green State across them.
Yeah, they have some good basketball jerseys.
And they're always putting like tire trucks,
What?
truck tires on their helmets and stuff.
Michigan puts tire tracks on their jerseys.
What?
They did the one year
It's just because
for Adidas.
the only
Western beat Denver 3-2.
Well, that's good for the old RPI.
It is. Well, you know what else is good is that Arizona State swept Denver a couple weeks ago.
I know, and they were undefeated at the time.
Yep.
Denver, yeah. Well, they're
There's-
probably still really good.
Basketball beat DC in a shootout.
Yeah.
I just wonder why Cullen Potter was like, "I'm going to go to Arizona State because they'll let me play this year."
Instead of going,
To State,
oh,
he was committed to State.
I
And
mean,
like, why wouldn't State be like, "Yeah, you can come early"?
Arizona State is a program that I think once they really get going, could be quite.
but we've said that.
Popular.
Well, what I'm
They've been around
saying is
for
like,
8
if Cullen
years.
Potter wants to come to your program a year early,
yeah,
you just say
should
yes.
definitely take him.
It'd be nice to get one goal in this game.
ASU's gotten going in football though. Get a
Those
big-
Dude,
jerseys.
Dillingham is good.
Yep.
Those jerseys are just really, just outstanding.
The Gopher ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, are you pushing for Wolverbear? Or?
I don't like Wolverbears as
don't?
much as I like their skating gopher there.
Would you get a shirt with the skating Gopher on it?
I can't get shirts from schools that like Michigan plays regularly.
Okay.
Like I'll get my
Tulane,
Tulane or Colorado School of Mines, or
Oklahoma
Delaware.
State.
or Oklahoma State. But I'm
I
not
just
going to
named all of you the ones
Big
shirts
Ten.
that you have.
Wow, you're really paying attention to all my shirts.
You have Jim Thomasula bludgeon.
that one expired.
That one died.
That one died. Yeah,
You wore it out, literally.
I did.
You used
I
to
mean,
wear
it's been 10 years. There was a real brief window when you could buy Jim Tomsula shirts. And I exploited that window.
I don't know what he's even up to anymore.
He was like a head
This
coach
is why
in
we have
NFL Europe.
See, I bet Alejandro's already Googling. He's on it.
He's on it.
He's the head coach for the Rain Fire of the
Yes!
European Football.
Head
Of what?
coach.
Rain,
Oh.
fire, what?
Of the European
Yes, he's a
Okay.
head coach in Europe. There we go.
Would you watch one of his games?
God, no. I just remember there was like this 49ers blog, the one I bought the shirt from, that was so excited about him. He was like, oh, he says smash a lot.
Oh, no. We have one of those.
No, he says bludgeon a lot. That's what he said. He said bludgeon.
Oh, there's a difference.
So he said bludgeon like 8 times in a row to exhort his people. And people were like, oh, yeah, this guy's better than Jim Harbaugh. I was just like, I would be more excited if he had said 2 different words and display some command of the language. Instead, he's just Timmy, except for the word bludgeon.
Did you see the Oklahoma State news today?
No.
They're trying to
Well-
like redo Gundy's contract.
Yeah,
and,
but taking money from him to give it to NIL.
and Gundy's like, no. What
Is
happened
he?
to Boone Pickens? Did he die?
He died.
Oh, well, I think a while ago.
Why didn't Boone Pickens just give all his money to Oklahoma State?
He probably gave a lot.
Yeah. Boom.
Feels like Gundy might have.
Jumped the shark.
Yeah, might be over the hill.
Wait,
Wow.
was the Bowman thing fake?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, does it matter?
Well, I just like guys who've been in college for a decade.
Why?
Well, it just gives you a certain, I don't know, je ne sais quoi. He's like, oh, yeah, this is, he was, what's the guy from The Thing, you know?
What?
Dazed and Confused.
Oh.
Like Snodgrass or whatever his name is. And he's like, the thing I like about high school girls is I keep getting older and they stay the same age. And, you know, Bowman could have been like that except about wide receivers. You know?
That could have gone in any direction, and you managed to pull it back, Brian.
Thank
I'll
you.
tell
I
what.
appreciate that. I don't condone
We could
such
just- no, we're just-
activities.
No. We're just moving
was
on
merely
right
referencing
past it.
them.
We're just sliding right by.
I was merely
Just like
It
the
feels
time.
like Gundy hasn't really had his groove since Knowles left. I mean, that was kind of like the because their defense unraveled, and then he spent a couple years trying to play his like son at quarterback, right? And then
Gundy?
then they went to Bowman, and they just haven't been able to solve that problem.
Well, I mean, they were always a
Craig
Big
is now on
12
the
team
phone.
that just did a bunch of offense, right? So, like,
Yeah.
if he's lost his mojo, it's not because Knowles left.
Well, I
That's
think the
'cause he-
offense was sinking some, and then the defense was actually really good. Like it
Yeah.
propped up that last good team he had, and then
They made the Big 12 championship last year.
Aiden
Yeah,
says
but they
that
weren't
Oklahoma
very-
State made the Big 12
they were a
championship last
sorcerer
year.
team. Remember that? They were like 8-4 with like a negative point differential, and then Texas ran them out of the building.
Was anyone else in the Big 10 good last year?
So it was like a Big Ten West championship game. appearance?
Ah, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, you remember
Do you,
that?
do you miss the Big 10 West?
Honestly, I do. It was such a stupid little subset of college football.
It was like the ACC Coastal.
Yeah, except it was worse, or at least more boring, and that was interesting to me.
I don't think it was more boring. I don't think it was worse. I think it was the same.
Well, I just enjoyed the fact that like SP Plus, which is like, you know, the gold standard for computerized football rankings,
yeah.
couldn't handle it.
No.
It was like, yeah, I think Minnesota has one of the top 10 defenses in
They
America.
probably don't.
Because look at who they're like. Look at their results, and it's like they played Illinois and Wisconsin and Iowa.
Oh,
Nice save.
another save by Corpy. I
You
haven't
can-
taken a note in the third period
You can
yet.
try to opponent adjust, but you can only do so much in those circumstances.
You know, you look at the shots, and you're like, this game could have been competitive, and then you're like,
This is
no.
what I'm saying.
Score effects, baby.
Yeah. Effort level low.
Brian, the comments want your thoughts on the English Premier League.
Oh,
They
boy.
want my thoughts on the English Premier League.
Brian doesn't watch the English Premier League.
I do not. I can't find a team because you get to pick between two kinds of teams. You can either pick the Yankees or Northwestern.
That is kind of true. There-
I'm not interested in rooting for either of those.
Yeah,
teams.
I would tend to agree.
Craig says Wolverhampton is his team, and I don't believe him.
No, well, yeah, that's probably true. He's probably watched a combined 45 minutes in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
However, he does own a jersey.
Okay, but that doesn't
And
make me a...
He couldn't tell you a player on the team, but they're also Northwestern.
Adamo was.
Yeah,
he
they're
doesn't
also
play for them
Northwestern.
anymore.
I know, but he did. But
All right, we got to stop interacting with Craig without telling people what's going on.
Craig-
It's very confusing.
Craig, you have to. He just has to have
we
a headset
we
next
just
time.
need to repeat what Craig has said
Yeah,
so
and-
people have context for people being like, no, bad.
What? Are we at? Oh, we don't have the viewer count up anymore. Oh well.
Alas. So my thoughts on the English Premier League is it seems like fun, but I can't really get into it.
Still at 60.
What's
Oh,
your,
we're at 60.
what's your MLS team?
I don't have an MLS team because, like,
Have you punted the MLS? You used to watch the MLS.
I watch MLS sometimes, but I don't, like, have a team, you know?
Do you have a player?
No, not really anymore.
Did you?
I like Darlington Nagby.
Darlington Nagby and DeAndre Yedlin?
No, I never, like, Yedlin went to, where did he went to
He went to Europe.
Europe for a while.
You were a Nagby fan.
Yeah. Well, I just like the fact that he was so press
What
resistant.
about Paul Areola?
Paul Areola was like the quintessential like try-hard American winger that it's good they've moved on from. But he got way too much heat for just being a try-hard, which is, you know, not ideal, but he did try really hard.
People tuning in for Brian's soccer takes.
Well, I have takes, but just about the U.S. national team. So,
All the world's Wolves fans are tuning in.
oh, we got a delayed penalty.
Oh, man. I got to count up more. What is the point of calling a penalty with a minute 25
I
to
would
go in a
really like
6-0 game?
Michigan to get the shot parity in this game.
They got to take a lot of shots.
So they can't get a goal, but they have to take 10 shots?
9 shots. 9 shots and a $125, no
Just
goals.
shoot, shoot, shoot.
39-39, 6-0 Minnesota.
Just get a bunch of shots right near the net.
He
Just
really,
like
he
offensive
really
rebounds
does look like a gopher.
Yeah, the Andre Drummond.
Like his little teeth just
Don't
stick
encourage
out.
him. Stop encouraging him.
Just little teeth, and he's mad about a roughing call with 2 minutes left and it's 6-0.
Well, yeah, I am too.
Are you saying?
Maybe I'm a gopher.
Maybe you are. Maybe you have little teeth
Do you
for
remember-
gnawing on things.
Do you remember Blackledge when they threw that flag at the end of the MSU game last year?
I mean, I don't remember.
No?
Now I remember a
There was a
reaction.
penalty with
Because
like,
Orgy
Yeah,
scored
I remember
touchdown.
the
before
penalty.
the
I don't
orgy
remember
went-
what Blackledge said.
he was just like, a penalty with 15 seconds to go? Come on.
That's what I feel like.
That's a guy whose coke bump is running out. That's so unfair, Todd Blackledge. I'm sorry. Well, I don't want to baselessly accuse people of doing cocaine.
That doesn't
Much.
sound outside of your scope.
Well, no, I mean, like, Todd Blackledge doesn't deserve that. He's got Taste of the Town, which
does.
always goes to Zingerman's.
I think he graduated to Frida
Did he?
like a few years ago.
I wonder if he got a Batito. That's the real thing you get there.
Ugh, did they pull the goalie? Oh, they should
Why
have.
would they?
Because they got to score a goal. Otherwise, they all get executed. That's what happens when a hockey team doesn't score a goal. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe in Eastern Europe.
Dude, we talked to Scott Matska.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had his ALS diagnosis, but he was still, hale and hearty.
Well, that's it. 6-0. Now you can continue.
But he told the story about how he was playing in Europe, and the fans were so mad at the team that they laid down in front of the team bus and they couldn't go anywhere. And I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, I didn't know that like anyone in Europe got that incensed about hockey. Like that kind of stuff. If you told me that happened to a soccer team, I'd be like, "Yeah, it makes sense."
No, they wouldn't lay down. They would probably tip the bus over.
Well, sure, but like in Italy, he was in Germany, I think, or Austria. And I just didn't know that like that was they were like. Can you imagine like an Italian football team that happening to them? Where, like, I mean, like American football. Like, no, because the people who go to football games in Europe are either just people who like to drink or Americans or whatever. And I kind of felt that was the same way about hockey, but I guess I was wrong. Anyway, if anyone would like to go and lie in front of the team bus after this performance, if you happen to be in Minnesota,
Or walk back to the hotel.
it would be an homage to Scott Matska, and you should do it.
Do you have any closing thoughts or anything else that you want to get in before we wrap this?
Hopefully the next watch along will be better.
Oh my goodness! Should
It
we do
will be.
Should we do a basketball one this time?
Well,
They have Oklahoma is in a couple of weeks.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But
Are you around on a Thursday or is it a Wednesday?
I don't know what day it is.
Well, this is part
Let
of
me
your
look at
job.
what the schedule says.
Wednesdays are right out,
Right, Wednesdays are out, even if it's
Wednesdays are-
late.
even if it's late. You're not allowed to leave your sleeping children in the home and then exit the home.
Because the next one would be Tuesday, and
This
that seems
coming
too soon.
Tuesday against Arkansas.
Tuesday.
He's interested.
I can do Tuesdays.
We could
We could
But I think we need to take a
Contemplate.
little bit of a break to
Okay.
detox from this
from
one.
whatever this was.
We didn't end up doing any caroling though.
We-
I said that was an option. If
You guys should finish with the Christmas carol.
All right, here's my Christmas carol. Turn the scream off. Go away. Ugh.
Thanks for enduring that.
Well, yeah, all 60 of you freaks.